Oh, you don't have to strain.
Yes.
I didn't put my rouge on.
Do you want me to dim this or?
Yeah, just turn
The
it
light?
off. Yeah, just turn it. I'll just turn it off. Okay.
It's perfect.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Before we get started, did everybody sign in? Take the sheets. Everybody sign in. Take the sheets off the back.
No.
No. All right. Why don't you do that real quick?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you brought me coffee. Perfect.
I made some.
That's a good job. So, good morning. I'm Eddie Levin. I've been with Keller a little over a year now. I've been in the industry for 12 plus years. I started in property management and cut my teeth on property management, leasing, buying, renovating homes for investors and clients. And I got into the market at the worst possible time. If everybody can think back about 10, 12 years ago, what was the market doing? Crashing. So I figured if I could get in when it crashed, I might be able to survive. Native of Atlanta, even though I don't have my southern accent out for y'all, but I can bring it out if you'd like. Born and raised around the corner in Sandy Springs. And I love what I do. It took me a little while to find it. As we all say, it takes a little while to grow up and find out what you love. And it took me a little while. So I'm going to just real quickly, this is, as y'all know, this class is for y'all to learn. Please ask questions. I'm not a public speaker by trade, or I wouldn't be here. I'd be on a stage somewhere, I guess. But hopefully we'll be able to teach you a lot, learn a lot. One of the things about this class that after Stacy asked me if I would do it, I said yes, and then she goes, oh, the caveat. A lot, and I will phrase this again, a lot of your questions from the test that you take, and don't stress out about the test. Everybody, you all pass the test, I promise you. But a lot of the questions do come from this class. So near the end, I'm going to kind of do a real brief review and little hints. Try to pay attention. Hopefully I don't put you to sleep. It's going to go by quick. If you need to, we need to take a break. Sometimes I get going and I forget to stop, throw something at me or talk, but let's be interactive. But before we get started, I'm going to start. Somebody want to start? I'd like to meet all of y'all. Tell me how, if you've been in the industry,
Yes,
what you're
exactly.
doing,
And that's what the
part-time, full-time, all that fun stuff so we can learn. We'll start here.
Well, my name is Maria Connolly. This is my husband, Christopher Connolly.
Hi.
He came with me today. I just got my license back in May 9, so I'm completely new to the industry.
Okay. And what'd you do before?
I was former helicopter pilot.
Oh, you're the helicopter pilot. Oh, I'm excited. I hear you're going to give us all rides, right?
Yeah, I will. Once I get my license in the States.
Okay. That's exciting. Well, welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We'll go here.
Hi.
Hey.
Good morning. I'm Caroline Jaffe, and I am new to residential real estate. So I'm really happy to be here and take part in the class, and looking forward to learning lots of fun things.
Okay, what'd you do before?
I was a boring banker.
Boring banker.
Horribly, terribly boring.
Who are you with?
I started out with Chase, and then I went eventually with Lydian. I was also with National City, and that was wholesale.
National City. Oh, they had some.
Sandusky, the greater Sandusky area, you know.
Too.
But mostly I didn't have to go to Ohio. I just kind of hung out here in Atlanta. And, I did a little bit of work for them in Dallas and a little bit of work for them in Florida. So
Cool.
that was fun. And now I'm here.
So now you're here. Good.
Yep.
Where are you from originally?
Originally Atlanta, believe it or not,
Originally?
raised in East Cobb.
Okay.
I was raised in Atlanta too. I think this is the first time in history that 3 native Atlantas have been in one single
Okay.
place.
How far back?
I was born here.
My daughter's
Right around
a
this-
4th generations.
Wow, that's amazing.
And you
But I went
can't.
to Marist School,
Right.
went around here. And
I was born at Georgia Baptist. If anybody, the natives.
Oh my gosh,
Georgia
Newton
Baptist.
County General Hospital in Covington.
They're eating
Yeah,
the north
what
side.
North side? Cool.
What if you're in the heat of the night?
Hey, I'm the little baby that was
It
cute.
was Matt. It was Matt.
Matlock?
Madlock first.
Yeah, yes.
So All right.
All right, I'm Gerard Davis, and I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia.
Still there? Still Georgia.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
Before this, I was an HRIS consultant at a company right up the street called Namely. And then before there, I worked at ADP as an HRIS consultant for about 5 years.
Oh, good.
I just got my license a week before Maria on May 2nd.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Joycelyn Howard. I'm not from here. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And before this, I was a stay-at-home mom. And before that, I was a victim advocate.
All right. How long have you been in Atlanta?
Oh, over 20 years.
Oh, we'll catch you in that. So this class, this talk, whatever, is all about finding our business, and that's the most, I guess, important thing. Do y'all care if I don't stand? I mean, I don't.
No.
Okay. And as I said, this is to learn a lot, ask a lot of questions. Everybody has in their Ignite book the section. So. How are we going to grow our business? How are we going to find our business? How are we going to do our business? What's the right way to do our business? That's what all Ignite's about, correct? We're going to cover prospecting, lead generation. Oh, excuse me, connecting with clients, referrals. That's what we're all about, right? That's what we're here. We're here to help somebody, help a family find that home and be comfortable, whether it's their first home, their second home, or investment home. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Hopefully you'll get a lot of ahas. Just to let you know, if you ever have a question, feel free to reach out to me. I do keep an office here. I have two teammates, Sam Klein and Bjorn Corteau, who work with us. Work with me also, so it's the three of us. Our team is called We Sell ATL. One of us is, unless we're out and about, usually I'm here almost every day until I leave, so door's always open even if it's closed. Just knock on the door, even if it's the stupidest question. Let me help you, let Stacy help you. It's a very trying time and you learn something every day, even if you've been doing it for 20 years. It's just a constant learning. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Scripts. Who believes in scripts? Who understands scripts? No, yes. Who's scared of a script? You're scared of a script? Okay. You were a helicopter pilot, so I don't really know the scripts of a helicopter pilot. Was it Army, Navy, personal tours?
Company.
Huh?
It's a private company.
It was a private company?
Yeah, I mean, I learned all the communication with the tower, you need to know all
Right,
that.
so-
But it's like really steady, you don't have to change, you don't need to interact with them. It's just like, I'm here, I'm just letting you know I'm here, I haven't crashed, I'm still here.
I like that last little word. Okay, let me ask you this.
Crash, that was important.
One of my favorite restaurants in fast food restaurants, and maybe yours, is Chick-fil-A. Has everybody been to Chick-fil-A?
That's a safe bet, yeah.
Is it last class, there was one person that hadn't been to Chick-fil-A.
Huh?
Oh my goodness.
I know. She said she does not eat fast food, and she was this big, and I believed her. So what is their script? What is Chick-fil-A's script?
Like, hello, welcome to Chick-fil-A or something like that.
Close.
Yeah.
I picked up my number one with a large sweet tea and a fry. What do they say?
It's been my pleasure.
It's been my pleasure. That's their script. They say it without thinking, right? It's a script. So scripts are, as you practice them, and y'all are perfect to practice off each other, unless y'all don't like confrontation, then you pick another partner. It's just becomes your daily verbiage. Hey Gerald, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm excited. You have any kids, Gerald? I forgot to ask you earlier.
No, I don't have any kids.
No, any kids. Do you watch baseball?
I
You been
watch
watching
baseball. Yeah, I'm a Braves fan.
Braves? Man, Braves been doing great.
They
So
have.
you telling me you're getting into real estate. I'm excited for you. You go to church?
I do. What about you?
I go to a synagogue called Temple Emmanuel.
Okay, all right. I go to Elizabeth Baptist Church.
Okay, great. So, Gerald, when you participate in Bible study, and either whether it's Wednesday or Sunday or with your friends on the side, you ever ask them who might be interested in buying or selling real estate?
All the time.
All the time. What do they tell you?
A lot of them have recently bought homes, and some are just, they say they want to, but they're just a little afraid.
They're a little afraid.
Yeah.
So maybe, what are they afraid of? Interest rates, payments,
I think they're afraid of the unknown.
the unknown.
What it takes to, or what it entails to purchase a house. I think they're afraid of their credit score. That's one of the biggest things I hear.
So Gerald and I we just met, right? We just had a conversation, right? It's a script. Now, had Gerald not been in real estate, I would have changed the script a little bit, and I would have said, "Hey, Gerald, have you ever thought about buying a home, or do you own a home?
I own a home.
You own a home.
Yes.
Wait, how long have you owned a home?
A year.
A year. Wow. First time home owner?
Yes.
Wonderful. And I usually used an agent, right?
Yes, I did.
What was your agent's name?
Her name was Heather King.
Heather. And what did you love about Heather? What did she do for you?
First, she was a friend. We went to college together. And what I did like was she, if I ever called her, she always picked up the phone. And once she knew what I was looking for, she kind of tailored our house search to what I was looking for. And she made it pretty seamless and pretty painless. And
Sure.
she once we figured that out, even the mortgage lender that she put me in partnership with, he was very knowledgeable. He had been in the business about 15 to 20 years. So it was pretty painless.
Well, that's exactly. It's great that you have an advocate. As you know, I've been selling and buying real estate, and I don't want to step on your toes. But if it's okay, I would love to sign you up with on my database. And from time to time, I just send out little tidbits. I'm sure that your agent does the same, but sometimes we might send out different things. Would that be okay?
That's fine.
Wonderful. Also, from time to time, I send out little tidbits in the mail. Would you be okay to receiving that? Again, I'm not asking you to change real estate. My information I'm going to send you may be on, it's the winter time and it's time how to insulate your pipes. It's not a solicitation to take her away from you. It's just information that maybe she hasn't given or you haven't given. Just so we can kind of stay in contact. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Wonderful. I really appreciate it. And by the way, I know you have a great agent that you refer to, but if she doesn't cover the areas I do and you have a friend that's looking for a property, I'd love for you to be able to remember that I'm an agent. I'm with Keller Williams, and I'd love to help them. If you don't mind sharing my name, I'd appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
So that's a script on how you can kind of, we're building business. He had an agent. He loved his agent, right? So everybody gets nervous. Because everybody you talk to knows an agent, right? Everybody's brother, sister, mother is an agent, right?
Exactly.
However, how many agents stay in touch? Anybody else bought a house in the last 5 years? No? Yes? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah? Does your agent stay in touch with you?
I'm actually here today because Bob Facilla sold me a house.
Bob doesn't count. Okay. Bob's a 1%er.
Yeah,
okay?
he's great at referral.
Okay. Bob's an exception to the rule. However, most people get in this business and they think it's very easy, and they forget the cardinal rule, and that's stay in touch with your client. Okay, I bought 3 houses before I got into the real estate business. I had 3 different agents. You know how many ever called me on my birthday or sent an email, sent me a postcard, congratulating me on my anniversary? 3 different homes, 3 different agents. None of them.
Yep.
So even if he's really happy with his agent, he had a great experience, it's been a year, ask. But you have to make it a value proposition. What can you, that he or she will say, yes, I will be part of it. And that's a script. That's a script. It's something, just practice over time. It's just conversation. Bob's great at it. You'll be talking to Bob, if y'all haven't met Bob Facilla, so you'll be talking to him and all of a sudden, he brings it in. And that's what finding your business is about. Because I put them on my database and I send them stuff, even if it's just monthly, odds are his agent will do it for the first 6 months, and that's it. Now where are you? You're top of mind. You're picking up the phone and calling. Cheryl, man, did you see what the rookie did well, it wasn't last night, the night before. We were down, top of mind, right?
Right.
Had nothing to do. I complimented his agent, I never met her, right? I made her sound like, he said she was great, king of the earth. Compliment her, but you want to get on this database. You want to track those people. So, if we have time, we'll go over one-to-one more scripts. Scripts aren't on the quiz, so I want to just kind of go over it. But don't be scared of scripts. Get a partner. Practice every day. Pick up the phone, 8:30 in the morning. Say, hey, let's go over scripts. And it took, I didn't use scripts before I came to Keller Williams. I mean, I used them mentally, but until I started reading them, it really became part of my everyday vocabulary in a sense. You just, all of a sudden you become that. You just start talking. You don't even realize it. Don't even realize it, but it's great. Helps you pick up the phone. So, and we're going to come back over them. Really, if we have time, I want to get into them, but it's a great way to find your business. Okay, Bob doesn't count, so I'll get you on my mailing list because Bob won't forget. That's why he's been so successful, and that's why he's doing it. So, lead generation, that's what we're all about, right? So, did Stacy ask y'all to make a sheet? Have y'all done that of your database? Like, have y'all started printing out a database and working on it? Who you know, who you don't know? Yes, no?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Y'all talked about it? Okay, that is most important thing you can do. Everybody you've ever met, put them down. Put them down, get them in the system, and eventually pick up the phone and introduce, you'll send a letter once you get your license, you've all got your license, telling them what you're doing now. Be proud of it. It'll jumpstart your business because if you have kids and your kids are on a softball, baseball, swim team, get those people's names. If you go to a church or Bible study or whatever, get those people's names. If you belong to a bunco group, a wine group, a beer group, whatever it is, even if you're like, I see Gerald every month because we go to this beer thing, but I've never talked to him. Get his number, get his name. Okay?
Can't hurt.
You'll never know. And the person you don't expect to buy or refer to you is the person that's going to do it. 5% of your database is going to buy or sell and know somebody that's buying or selling every year. If you have 100 names, how do you know which name it is? Got to get them on there and you got to stay in touch with them. We're in a numbers game, and that's where we're at. If it's done correctly, it's a stream of business. It's the difference between success and not success. When I first got into business, I had a stream of business because I had investors and we were managing their houses. So I had a stream of business. And I took it for granted. And then when the times turned, I was like, all of a sudden, I wasn't staying in touch with them. I wasn't growing my business. And I had to stop back and go back. And that's one of the reasons why I like teaching this class, because it reminds me of what I'm supposed to do. So, have y'all all read this? Did anybody read ahead? Seen the funnel?
Yep.
Everybody knows about the funnel?
The mathematics, if you will.
Okay. I mean,
More
this
in,
is
more out.
leads, appointments, agreements, contract close per day, right? Prospecting is the quickest and most productive way to get leads and appointments for business. The 10-4 lead generation, how many people you're going to call every day. Everybody's going to do it differently. Some people like picking up the phone and cold calling. Some people like networking. Whatever works for you, find what works for you and really hone in on that skill. But it's all about lead generation. What's your relationship and your opportunity? So that's key. What is your, And you have to find out what everybody likes. Okay, so tell me real quick, who here plays golf? Who here plays tennis? Okay, who here likes gardening or eating? Okay, all right, we haven't raised your hand, so what do we like to do besides your kids?
Is it me?
Yeah, you don't want to raise your hand.
You said garden or
Eating.
Eating, whatever,
Eating.
restaurants.
Eating.
Okay.
Restaurant. Not
So
gardening.
why am I bringing those up? I'm bringing those up because it's a way of sorting out your database. So if you know somebody that is a gardener, put them in the gardening section. I'm not a gardener. I kill things. Don't ask me to grow them. But I have clients that love gardening, so I find articles on gardening. I send them articles on gardening. And the fun part is, then they respond to me and say, "Oh, have you tried this?" And I'm like, "No, because I'm scared. Whatever it is." But but we get an interaction. Baseball, okay, boom, pick it up. Golf. I do a Masters tournament. I do a U.S. Open tournament for my clients that like sports and golf. I do one for the SEC Championship League. I do one for the NFL. I do one for soccer. I have sports junkies. Okay, I send it to those people. I haven't found anybody that said no, that they don't like restaurants. So when I go to a new restaurant, or even if it's not new to me, it may not be new to me, but if I've had a great experience, I'll send out, "Hey, have you checked out, we were at the Big Catch. Have any of y'all eaten at the Big Catch? They have 2 locations, one's in Roswell, one's in Buckhead. We went to the Big Catch with some friends, and I just posted, had a great meal at the Big Catch. I recommend the lobster roll." That's all I said. And all of a sudden people were like, "Oh my God, I've been there, it's great," or "Have you tried this?" You tried this. It's just interacting. How do we interact? How do we stay in touch? So when you're going through your database and you're prospecting, if you can remember, okay, find out what they like. They have kids, they're young, are they preschool, middle school, high school. If you got it, go up to them and say, "Hey, so what's your daughter's name and how old is she?" No, don't do that because that's kind of freaky, but find out what their likes and dislikes are, and that'll help you stay in touch. It makes you stand out a little bit more. Because what is our number one job?
Stay on top of mind and lead generate.
There you go. That is what this whole thing is about. Keeping your head in the game. And prospecting is the least expensive way to get your business. It really is. Because emails are cheap. Phone calls are really cheap. Right? It's just time. Postcards are inexpensive. Mailers are inexpensive. You control what you want to send out. There are people that buy leads. You'll hear agents that buy leads. It's expensive. It does not work for me, but it may work for you. It just depends on how you're set up. But that's staying top of mind by just communicating is the easiest way to do it. So find out what you're passionate about, working at it. Find other people that are passionate. Find out what that person you're talking to is passionate about, and stay in touch with them. Okay, so this is one of those things that's on the test. I didn't say that, did I? So the myth about prospecting. What's the biggest myth about prospecting? Does anybody know? Without looking in their book. What is your concern about prospecting? I'm picking up the phone.
You're gonna get rejected.
Rejection. You love rejection?
I do.
You do?
I've been in sales, so
Okay.
I see that as an obstacle.
What did you do?
I did high-tech sales for CRM applications.
Oh, so everybody, hey, now I'm.
Hey, you want a CRM?
No, I got it. No. So the truth is that people are scared to pick up the phone to prospect because they're going to be rejected, right? They're going to reject you on your voice. They're going to reject you on your hair. They're going to reject. Well, they don't see you, right? You could be in your underwear and call it. Unless you're on Skype, I guess that would be a different story. But what I'm saying is, we all have to, even I do, get over the rejection of fear. Okay? People prospect. They think you're annoying them when you pick up the phone. They think you're going to have rejection. Okay? It's a myth. Meeting people, the truth is, meeting people and building business builds you a strong relationship, which will in turn build you a strong real estate business. Okay? Not, when I first, I'll never forget this, I called a friend of mine, he picked up the phone, he goes, Eddie, do not, I mean, I swear to God, do not ask me if I know anybody that wants to buy or sell. I said, I was not gonna ask you that, but I'm so glad you brought that up. And he said, why? I said, because at least I know that I got through to you. And we started joking and laughing. Because it was the first, because I kept calling him. Because I just called, every month I was calling different, I just, for some reason, felt like, he felt like I was always asking that question. So then I asked him the next question. Well, who's your go-to person for real estate? He said, you. I said, good. When can we go out for have a drink? It worked, okay? I had never bought or sold a house for him, but he had sent me 7 referrals in the last 4 years. Top of mind. I was scared when I first started calling it rejection. Everybody wants to help. You just have to hit them at that right time. Pick up the phone and you're calling and their child's crying, they don't want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. You pick up the phone and it's they've already had the coffee, the kid's down for a nap, they'll talk to you. They don't talk to you this time, put them on your tickler, call them next time. Change the time a little bit. But get over the fear of rejection, because we're all going to have rejection. It's just, unfortunately, it's a thing. I'm going to come back to the video of how they prospect. If we have time, I think there's some more important stuff to do in talking about it. So who knows what the 4 C's are?
Capture, connect, close, and cultivate.
Very good. So you first capture your lead by getting their contact information. Like I asked, I said, can I have your email? And then I went on and asked, can I have your other, I'm sorry. And then you connect by building a relationship. That's what it goes back to what I was talking about, right? We find what they like, we like. We close them. Whether it's for an appointment to buy or sell or invest, that's the next step, is close. And then cultivate them. Cultivating them is to build that so they will refer you when the time comes. If y'all hadn't got into real estate, who would y'all refer?
Bob.
Why would you refer Bob?
Because he started out, like you said, providing value through email, a combination of different touch points. But really, he was just really personable, and something you talked about. He instantly picked up that I was really into UGA football. From that point on,
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. From that point on, even though he's a Texas Longhorn, he consistently always tries. I'm now going to be a real estate agent, and he still, makes sure that he talks to me about UGA football, makes me feel like that connection again. I think it's just, it's his paradigm. It's just
He's staying in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you meet Bob?
I bought a house. How did I meet him? So I worked at Georgia State for about 12 years as a director of marketing, and I worked with a gentleman named Trey Childs, and Trey lives in the same neighborhood as Bob, and I said I was in the market to buy a home, and he just referred him.
Right. Because Bob was good at staying in front. So Bob's stayed in front of the person in his neighborhood. Y'all were having coffee, lunch, dinner, whatever. Somehow it came up. Oh, you got to speak. That's what you want to build. That's the relationship you want to build. You want someone to think top of mind. Top of mind, you have to stay in touch of them. Close to me is not always a relationship about buying a home. Okay? Close to me is I have that relationship, they can remember me top of mind. So, like you said, your neighbor, you would have never met Bob had you not talked to the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's even more important to me than selling the house. Because if he referred him to you, that means he's talking about Bob to other people.
Right.
And that's the key. So, your friends, your family, okay, they have to know what you do. You gotta start at that funnel, get it down. You gotta stay in touch with them, bring it down.
Another thing Bob does is he's really, really, really good at golf. And so if you're like maybe really, really good at one thing that you can connect with people, everybody looks up to Bob because he just crushes it on the golf course. So I don't know, for what it's worth. I
So,
thought about it.
are y'all okay? Do you need a break, or can we keep going? We're all good. Okay. So, did y'all pick up the memory jogger? Did y'all get this? Can I pull them? So, what we're going to do is we're going to take 10 minutes, go through this memory jogger, and I want you to write down as many people as you can. Just who you know. I want you to think outside the box. People you may haven't talked to in a year, 6 months, whatever. I want you to write as many people down as you can, just off the top of your head. Don't start going through your phone. Don't go through your computer. And this is literally, who do I know that's a plumber? Who do I know this? Who do I know that? So I want y'all to take 10 minutes and start typing or writing however you want, as many people as you can. All right? All right, let's just take one more minute.
Oh my.
I can't remember one of them.
All right, as y'all finish up, let me ask this. Everybody ready? Good? So, how many people do you know?
I talked
Just
about-
based off what we wrote
Just
down here.
how many people do you know?
Couple thousand.
Couple thousand. How many people do you know?
Two.
Two? Two people?
Just
Okay.
kidding. Yeah, probably a couple thousand.
Couple of, wow, okay.
Probably less than 100.
Less than 100, okay.
Probably a couple thousand.
Couple of thousand, okay.
Depends on like.
I'm just at, how many people do you know?
Period.
Just, how many people know? Average is typically about 150, realistically. I mean, there are some people out there that know thousands of people, and there's about 100, 150 people. So, what is your, what is sphere of influence? Anybody know?
This one?
Sphere of influence.
Yeah, your closest people that you have relationship with, like your closest friends, the one that are most likely to refer you. And
Right. People that who know you, trust you, and will do business with you, right? Those are the people that are going to become your advocates, not your, Facebook, LinkedIn, 10,000 people we all know. But this is your core people. This is your family. This is your immediate family. This is your doctor. This is your neighbor. This is your priest. This is your rabbi. If anybody's atheist, I apologize. Past coworkers, dentists. People that are that'll go to bat for you. People that you can. They're the best place to really start finding leads. So, how many people did we have on our by doing this memory jogger? How many did you come up with? 10, 15, 20 names? What? Just doing this quick exercise, how many did you come up with?
42.
42?
I don't know, probably about
How many?
12.
12, okay. Is there anybody on that list?
38.
38?
$43.
43. Okay. So in under 10 minutes, you quickly popped off 40, 30, 10, whatever names. Anybody on that list stand out like, oh my God, I hadn't talked to that person in a while. I hadn't thought about that person in a while. I need to pick up the phone and call them in a while. That's the whole point of the memory jogger. I keep this in my book. When I start like who haven't I talked to? And I'll look at this. It's a great thing. Because all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I haven't talked to this person in a while. I haven't talked to this person. And then I double check, are they in my database? Are they getting my email? And it's great. It's also good because if you're networking, if someone says, oh, I need a dentist. I need a plumber. This will help you start creating a vendor list also of referrals. So now you're giving back. Because giver's gain, is that what they always say? Mm-hmm. Giver's gain. So it's a good way also to increase your sphere of influence because somebody is more likely to refer you business if you refer them business or refer your name out if they know that you are willing to take care of them. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. It's a giver's gain mentality. So this is really a great thing when you're getting your database ready. Really sit down and spend some time with the memory jogger. You're not going to know everybody, and you're going to know 20 people under one category and maybe none of the others. But that's also a good way to say, okay, I need to add a travel agent in my sphere of influence. I don't know any of those travel agents. Well, you can always ask me or somebody else who can make an introduction, or you can ask around in your groups. Hey, who do you know that's a good travel agent? Because what do travel agents do? Who do they talk to a lot?
Everybody.
Okay, let's narrow it down. Think about who would call a young couple that would call a travel agent. Someone who just got,
Married.
they may be living in it. What a great referral source is a travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Jeweler.
jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
Jeweler's very good.
Everybody's getting married, gotta have a ring, honey.
Right. What's another good of sphere of influence in our industry? Nobody wants to see this person.
Doctor.
No, doctors. That's a guy answer, but no.
Oh, okay.
Lawyer.
All right.
What?
Lawyer.
What exactly? What kind of lawyer?
Divorce.
There you go. Because what happens in a divorce?
Your stuff gets split up.
Yeah.
Well, let's think about it.
You have to give
We'll
it
have
up.
to have a
You
joint
give up
custody
goods.
arrangement for the dog.
And someone is gonna be selling the house.
In my case, the horse.
The house, right?
They might buy houses after the divorce.
They might have to sell the house. They may have to go into a rental house, right? Until they get back on their feet, where they may be saying, we both need it. You could have 1 to 3 transactions in one referral. So, about a year ago, I didn't really think this through when I did this. My wife and I have been married 25 years. Put on Facebook, I'm looking for a divorce attorney. I didn't phrase that
Exactly.
exactly in my mind
Yeah.
how I was. Oh my God, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I didn't say anything to my wife Sherry at the time with what I was doing. People were calling her, what's going on? I'm so sorry. What are you talking about? And he says he's looking for a divorce attorney. Yes, he's in real estate. He's trying to make connections. I didn't think. Got a lot of conversation started. But they're great referral sources because you can get 1, 2, or 3. So use this memory jogger to help build your sphere of influence. And it also helps you to become that go-to person. Because as real estate agents, our job is to stay what?
In contact.
Top of mind. So if somebody's looking for a landscaper, somebody's looking for a divorce attorney, somebody's looking for, what are those things called? Bouncy houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to become the person they come to and call top of mind to say, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And that's how you build your sphere of influence. Again, it goes back to like we talked about before, hobbies, friends, your teachers groups, all of that stuff. When you're doing your database, find something you can relate to. All right, who's good with time blocking? Good. Good with, no? Maybe a little bit? Time blocking, that's one of the hardest things I have because I talk. But time blocking is the most important thing that you'll learn to do to be successful. Prepare the night before, make the list, take action, and maintain. So what are we talking about preparing? It's time blocking is called 3 by 3, right? So we're going to prepare, take action, and maintain. Prepare who you're going to call. Some people are into affirmations. They stand in front of a mirror. I am a great salesperson. 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 And I used to think that was the stupidest thing in the world. Until I started trying it. I kept saying, I am a good salesperson. I am a good salesman. I'm a great real estate. And it's just it gets you kind of like, if you ever played sports, you don't think back. I didn't think about it back when I played high school sports, but we all did that, right? We all pumped ourselves up some way or another. And then we practice scripts. That's preparing. As I said, you get those scripts down packed. They don't become a script anymore. It's just talking. Then you take action. We're going to prospect. We're going to update our database. Birthdays, anniversaries, all that stuff that keeps us going. And maintain. How do we maintain? We track the results. We schedule coffees. If somebody, be it whatever it is, to stay top of mind. And the last thing is write thank you notes. How many of y'all like writing thank you notes?
I actually do.
You write thank you notes? Okay. I worked for those that have been around here long enough. Y'all used to remember a company called Parisians. I started with Parisians out of college. I was a associate manager, became a floor manager, and became assistant store manager. One of our requirements to our associates was they had to write thank you notes after every purchase. Not all of them did, but we would say, you're not leaving here until I have 2 or 3 thank you notes a day. And why did we do it? Because we were trying to set ourselves apart, different than Macy's and Rich's, and Belk's wasn't around at the time. We wrote thank you notes. And these were all commissioned salespeople. They didn't want to spend time writing thank you notes, they wanted to be on the floor. They wanted to customers, but we made them write thank you notes. It's the same thing here. Got a referral for a client, and I wrote a thank you note to the person that referred me to him. Picks up the phone and called me, and he says, and I sent him a $10 gift card to Starbucks. It wasn't like I sent him it wasn't, to me, it wasn't that big of a thing. Picked up the phone, his name is Michael, and he calls me. He says, Eddie, how are you? I said, good, Michael. I said, I hope all the family's well. And he says, I just want you to know, he goes, I sent the referral to you because I knew you would take care of the client. When I got your thank you note, and I had called him immediately after I got the email about the referral, so I picked up the phone and talked to him to find out about it. He says, I used to refer business to another real estate agent until we met. He goes, and I sent her a lot of business. She never once wrote me a thank you note. Not to mention the $10 gift card wasn't bad either. Let's meet for coffee and catch up. So of course we met for coffee, and what did he do? He used my gift card to buy me coffee. But it was just that little thing. And I don't write well. I talk well, but I don't write well. And it's one thing that I do. It's just, I don't know, it works. Because people don't get things in the, what do you get in the mail today? You get bills and junk mail. So it's just that one other thing. So write thank you notes. It's great. So again, we talked about preparing. Brad, when you sit in the meetings, and everybody will tell you to spend 30, 45 minutes a day, the day before preparing, set a time. Brad said something a couple of weeks ago in our team meeting about having your list next to you in the car of the top 10 people you want to call, because we're all sitting in traffic. And I've been trying that, and it's amazing how many more people I'm calling now because I'm planning out who I want to call, and I'm sitting in traffic. And it's great because it's a quick script. Hey, how are you? Just wanted to touch base with you. Things. I'm sitting in traffic. I was thinking about you. Just out of curiosity, what's going on? Let them talk for a few seconds. Say, hey, I'd love, whether you want to get together with them or whatever, great time to set an appointment. And it's just, all that time I'm sitting in traffic, I'm listening to music, listening to a podcast or something else. Now I'm picking up the phone and calling. So prepare a list. Make sure you time block. Y'all want to take a quick break, or y'all good? What do y'all want to do? Anybody need?
I'm good.
We're rocking.
We're good? Okay. So this is the video. It's the Property Brothers. It's about cold calling and preparation. Let's see. Come on. Yeah.
Cool. So I'll say where we're from and then you get approach.
This is all on one.
Hi, my name is Sean Vermonche.
I'm Sean Vermonche.
We're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're
Scroll down.
2014
Is that good?
transaction.
Can y'all hear it?
Yep.
Sean and I are very lucky because we're actually fairly entrepreneurial in sales. So we were able to just sort of survive by luck and by just sort of being likable and nice.
We had a decent business that wasn't growing.
We did a lot of door knocking originally, but what we found was with bad weather, plus you have to drive to door knock, it was just too much of a wild card.
If we were to grow the business, we needed to add people to our database, and if we were going to do that, we needed a systematic way that we knew we could achieve results that were predictable. So we just kind of started cold calling.
About 3 hours a day, and we found that the results were phenomenal.
But take a look where we've been this whole time.
You can literally do it.
This is more time effective.
Yeah.
If you're cheap like we are, you don't want to spend a ton of money on the web or on print. Telephone lines, you pay a monthly bill and you can call all you want. When do you come in here to the cold call here? about a map where we broke the entire city into zones. We like to target areas where we have fires.
It's been scrubbed to the do not call list, and it still represents over 250,000 phone numbers. All of our desks have 3 monitors. We have Mojo in the middle, we have our scripts on the right, and then on the left,
Do some research on the house they're calling for, stuff like that. Cold calling is like adding jet fuel to your car or something. Like it pumps your business up.
we went from making,
What was our first year, like 70K, and then this year together we did $1.1 million. So this is Sean calling from the real estate brothers. You know what? I'm so sorry about you today, but I just noticed that you have to treat cold calling as though it's an appointment. If you don't prioritize it, things will always find their way in and block you from being able to do it. It's the most important thing you can do for your business.
absolutely most important, and you have to quantify it as well. The Bold 100 contacts a week is a really, really cool way
To set a bar.
to set a bar and get started and stick to it, whatever your decision is.
I was just wondering, has anything changed in your plans? Do you still think it was great to get another one?
You can't think today was a bad cold calling day, because today doesn't matter. What matters is what you accomplish in a year. And if you just keep adding people to your database and systematically follow up with them and take care of the people who you work for, you'll do great.
You're not always going to have great success every day, but it's by doing it every day that you have great success.
We're going to be in the neighborhood for the next 2 weeks giving free evaluations. You know what I'd love to do?
I'll say too that one thing that we were afraid of, and I think everyone is just the rejection side of things. People being mean to you on the phone and rude. We have this saying with our team that you're either part of our future or part of our past, and either way it's fine. The people who are rude to us are obviously not going to be part of our future.
Have a chuckle about it. Like, honestly, when someone cusses at me or something, I just laugh. It's funny.
Do you think that would make sense for us to put some intensity weekend?
The more time you spend not on the phone, you're losing money, because that 3 hours of my day is my 20% where I make my money.
Don't get ready to start thinking about how you're going to eventually do something. Just do it. Like
Just do
get
it.
done.
Stop watching this video, just get off your butt and go start dialing numbers and talk to people. Just get on the phone.
Yeah, and if you hate money, don't do it.
Yeah.
So, I like this. I mean, I like this video. Just, did anybody get any good takes out of that? Anything besides fear of rejection?
Well, it's power in numbers, right? So
Right, it's the number situation, it's the hopper,
Right. So,
you know?
what I also, one of the things I love that they say, you're either part of our future or you're not.
Right.
So if somebody's rude to you or somebody, they're not part of your future. It could be a family member. It could be your friend. It could be your sorority, fraternity brother, sister, or college. They either want to be with you or they don't. And what is their, and their philosophy is move on. And they're right. Don't dwell on the fact that this person said no. Laugh at it and move on. To me, is the best thing. And it goes back to the same thing. Prospecting, get over the fear of rejection. And everybody has it. I don't care if you're the top salesperson and you say you have no fear of rejection. We all have a fear of rejection. It may not be on the phone. It could be your golf game. It could be your baseball game. You know,
I've been an IT director for the last while, so I'm probably going to be scared when I get on the phone again.
Right.
Just, it takes practice, and then you're not.
Right. It's just repetitive. And what did they say? They're, I mean, let's face it, they're a little set up a little bit more different than us. But they have scripts on one side, and they got, on the other side, well, they use a Mojo dialer, for those that don't know. Basically, when you ever get a cold call and you hear a click, and all of a sudden somebody picks up, that's what the Mojo dialer is. As soon as you hang up, it's starting to dial the next person until it gets a ring. Boom, 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 boom. And so it tells you, okay, Eddie Levin, blah, 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 blah. So you have to be, and then you can set it on speeds, obviously, but that's what the dialer does.
Yeah, it's what
That's
But-
the same as RedX.
RedX, exactly. RedX is another version. There's lots of them out there. But the thing, and they have the scripts. Again, it goes back to scripts. And I guarantee you, they practice their scripts.
Yeah, I used to work at MCI years ago. MCI WorldCom, and we used to be on an automated dialer like that. And we had to make 200-300 calls a day, or in 4 hours, you know.
Yeah, and it just goes and goes
It just goes
until
and goes
someone
and
else
goes
picks up.
Until somebody says yes.
So, but the whole point is it's prospecting. Whatever works for you. Obviously, on the phone works for them. It may not work for you, but you got to figure out how you're going to find your business, how you're going to build your business, how you're going to stay top of mind. So, what are some? Let me ask you this: what are some? How are you?
What's up, guy?
This is actually a great stopping point. Perfect timing.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing good. I'll let you introduce yourself real quick
All right.
and tell them how long you've been doing it and
Cool.
what you're doing.
All right. So my name is Ryan Forward. I recently just got my real estate license back in December, and I actually went through my first Ignite class, which I think about taking again, probably coming up in the next near summer. I just finished my class back in May of this year. Stacy, I was talking to Stacy the other day, and I was just explaining to her, you know, what I went through, going through the whole process, and then where I'm at now. So she asked me to come in today and just let you guys know that, you know, the process that you're going through now is there's gonna be a lot of information. Is everybody new agents? Well, I know you're not, right? You are?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody in here is new agents, right? Okay, so basically, Ignite is gonna teach you a lot of things in a cramped course, okay? There's gonna be a lot of information that you're gonna get at a very increasingly speed. But the best thing about it is you get to talk to, you know, people who are seasoned in this real estate business that actually come from different areas of real estate. Some people specialize in, you know, buyers, some people specialize with sellers, and, you know, they might work differently than each other, but you're probably trying to figure out, okay, well, what's the best way for me to work? The best way for you to figure out how you guys want to do this is, you know, basically to actually put in work when time is needed. So my first time coming through Ignite, I was basically kind of confused. Like, I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know if I wanted to work with sellers, if I wanted to work with buyers, or if I just wanted to, you know, do my own thing. So what I did was I just jotted down some notes from different presenters that we had, and you'll have multiple presenters. Which class is this one right now?
Finding your business.
Finding your business, yeah. So basically, this is perfect, actually. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of information, but what you really need to do is you really need to just, when you have the time, sit back and actually go through the process that they're teaching you. You know, you need to come up with a daily 10-4. You have to come up with a plan that's going to work, to your schedule. Like for me, cold calling wasn't working in the morning for me. I was getting, you know, half of people answer, or some people would answer and like, I'll give you a call back. So I pushed my hours back 2 hours. And that actually increased the amount of more people that I talk to on a daily basis. And what you can do is, well, what I do is I use my scripts. I don't use them word for word. I start off by reading them to myself and just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Every person is going to be different that you talk to. There's going to be some people that you talk to and the script is just going to work, and there's some people that you need to talk to is going to give you rebuttal after rebuttal after rebuttal. So you have to be on your toes. You have to be ready. And it's kind of, you know, it's not. I'm not going to say it kind of puts you down when you're trying to answer a question. You're looking at the script, trying to read what it tells you to read if they say no or if they say yes. So time and time before, I've tried to just use the script just by itself, and it wasn't working for me. So what I decided to do was, whatever I messed up on in that last call, I would just jot down some notes, you know, write down, okay, you know, they asked me about this, I didn't have answers about this, so I would research it, and you know, I would incorporate that into my scripts. So with that just being said, you know, the scripts are going to be your foundation on what you need to start your conversation off of. But your scripts are not tailored to how you speak or how you speak. You know, you may use a different word, or you may use just a different phrase to grab people's attention. And the script might tell you to do it this way, but it's good to use that as a starter, because once you use that as a starter, you can get a foundation on how you approach people and how you like to speak to people. So ever since I've been doing that, you know, I was doubting myself when I first was in here. I was like, I don't know if I can do this, you know, because cold calling is not my thing. I did door-to-door sales for a while, and it wasn't really what I liked. But then again, I have a degree in marketing, so I had to start off at entry level. But cold calling wasn't my strong suit, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a try. And one day I sat there and I cold called for 4 hours, and I probably got 5 responses from 50, maybe 60 people that I was calling. And what I learned was that I learned something new today that I didn't know yesterday. And that's the whole thing about, you know, going through this process is you're gonna get a lot of information, but the only way you learn the information is if you actually sit down and you go ahead and do it. Because if you don't do it, then you'll never get the answers that you're looking for, because there's only a certain amount of answers that Eddie can give you. There's only a certain amount of answers any other of your teachers would come up here and give you. But at the same time, you're going to go through questions in your own head, and you're going to be like, you know, how can I get this answer? You're going to need this answer right away. And then you have to figure out a way to, you know, just put everything that you learn together and put what you think works best. I'm not sure which class it is, but you'll see a class, you'll go through a video where it's these two guys and all they do is cold call all day.
We just watched
You just watched
That's why I said it was
it.
perfect.
Timmy's impeccable.
I said that's why your timing was perfect. We just watched the two brothers.
That video, to me, at first I was like, okay, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how you sit on the phone all day and just call. But that's your learning process. When you call and you call and you call, you start to understand the needs of what people want, what certain people want, or, you know, just how to formulate a conversation with these people about presenting to them that you have the best interest in them by giving them the best service that you can. So, you know, just my advice to you guys is it's a lot of information, but at the same time, just make sure that you stay focused on what you want your business to look like. You'll have a lot of people come up here and say, we do it this way, I do it this way. Then you'll have another class, they'll completely disagree with what Eddie said yesterday. But that doesn't mean Eddie's wrong. That doesn't mean that so-and-so is right. It just means that works for Eddie, that works for her, this works for him, you know. So don't get discouraged if you get to a point and you're like, I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be confused, and you're going to be pulling your hair out every morning like, okay, I know I need to cold call, but I just don't feel like doing it. If you don't feel like doing it right then and there, okay, but make sure you do some kind of cold calling throughout the day, because to me, that's helping me learn how I want to run my business, and helping me learn how to speak to people when I'm coming from a background. But I never did real estate before. Well, I did flipping houses, but it was a little bit different. But, you know, to know the process, to understand, you know, the value of having a real estate agent and all that other stuff, it taught me more, because you call people and you say something simple like, you know, are you pre-approved? And they're like, well, what do you mean am I pre-approved? And you're like, okay, well, that's the first step into buying a house, you know, and this, that, and third. Then they tell you, oh, well, I'm ready to look at houses now. And you're like, okay, well, first you have to get pre-approved, because we don't want to go looking at $400,000 homes when you're only qualified for $250,000 or $300,000. So, you know, just stick with it. It's a fun class. Stay interactive. You guys should really exchange numbers if you guys haven't exchanged numbers now, or make some kind of group. We did that in my last class. We have a group text, and if anybody has any questions, you know, we just shoot text and stuff like that. Come to sales meetings on Tuesdays. Is this class going on Tuesdays?
What?
Is the class going on Tuesdays? No.
I think there's a couple after.
Okay.
But mostly it's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay, well, the same thing like mine. But if you have an opportunity to come to any of the sales meetings, it's definitely a good time coming in there, because we'll have vendors here. You know, you'll get the environment. You'll hear people's, you know, trials and tribulations that they go through on a daily basis and stuff like that. And you can just kind of sit in the corner and just be a fly on the wall and just listen to people talk, because there's a lot of good information that comes through on a sales meeting. I've only been to one, but I also do real estate, and I also have another business that I run myself. So it's kind of hectic for me to come here on Tuesdays, but it's a good thing to come on Tuesdays, because you'll get to learn a lot, and you'll get to see, you know, a lot of veterans here who are still going through the same problems that you're probably going through a month from now when you get your first listing and stuff like that. So,
Are you using a dialer, or are you calling just your sphere of influence?
well, what I do, I use my sphere of influence, and then I also use MLS, which is also good. You need to, if you guys haven't, FMLS has free classes, CE classes that you definitely should take. It's, you know, Matrix Basics, Matrix Advanced, the portals, CMAs, all those classes you should definitely take, because it's going to actually help you look into the FMLS and find the people that you want to target. So what I do is I look at expireds. I go on there and go on withdrawals, anything that, you know, looks like can potentially be on the market for a little bit too long. I'll give them a call too, you know, just reach out to them. And then I also, Terry gave me these two websites that I haven't looked on yet, but it's basically for sale by owners. It's a list of them. It's a whole bunch, but you also use Zillow. You know, Zillow has a whole bunch of for sale by owners on there too. So I haven't dealt with any buyers yet, but I have had 2 meetings with 2 sellers, but they didn't go through because they were going to wind up staying with their real estate agent that they had now. They weren't Keller Williams real estate agents, which I tried my best to bring them over to Keller Williams, but they felt like the real estate agent that they were dealing with was doing a good job. So, but for me saying that is, I went from no appointments a week to having 2 appointments a week. So,
I want to ask a quick question.
Mhm.
You advised that you go into the FMLS or the Georgia MLS and you pull the expired and the withdrawn.
mhm.
When you do that, doesn't that give you the existing agent's information, not the seller's information? How does one obtain the seller's information from that?
So what you can do is you can go back and you can look at the tax records that's on there, and then you can get all the information from previous owners to the owners that's going on now. So when you take Matrix Advance, they'll show you how to use the tax records and all that other stuff to get their information, even though it has the
I mean, usually it doesn't have a phone number in the tax records, though. It just has their name and the address and such like that.
There's different ways.
Yeah.
There are some agents that actually put the owner's contact information in, which is very helpful. But there's ways. It's called PIPL. I have to look, but I'll get it for you, and I think one of the classes goes over where you can take a name and email, and it will give you 3 or 4 phone numbers. You may have to call all 3 to get to the right person, and sometimes they're not even accurate. But that's another way. There's multiple ways. If you use a dialer, it'll pull it up for you.
and they also have this thing called Remind, and that's
Sorry?
Remind. It's in the FMLS too,
Yeah.
and Remind is just basically, but you have to pay for it for I think over 100 searches or something like that a day or something. But you can use that also to get phone numbers for people who live in the neighborhoods, and especially if you do mailers, Remind is good because it'll let you know how long somebody's been living in the residence, and real estate about 7 to 9 years, people are either ready to move out or take a step up or take a step down in their home size. So, yeah.
We appreciate it. Anything else?
Any other questions?
That was I literally was perfect timing.
That was?
Literally just turned off the video.
That's great. That is
Just turned off the
awesome.
video.
I'm gonna pass out my card just in case anybody has any questions. Feel free to call me or email me. Either way it goes, I'll be able to help you answer the questions. But if there are a little bit more advanced questions, don't be surprised if I say, you know what, just go ahead and talk to Stacy about that one because I'm not sure about that one yet.
So have you actually closed the house yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. And when you get your first listing, usually my advice to you guys is when you get a listing, try to put it on there for at least 6 months. Try to hold the listing for 6 months. Because I've actually called some agents and called some expireds who've only been on there for 30 days or 45 days. And I've tried to figure out why they were on there for 30 days or 45 days. And I couldn't get a straight answer from them. So I would love to talk to the real estate agent and try to figure out why they thought they would sell the house.
I think what they try to do is then they will pause it again to get a new FMLS number to make it look like a fresh.
Yeah, they do that. They do that too. But
with the history now, it could have. I'll give you an example. You're asking why was it only a 30-day listing? So we got a referral from a gentleman who lives in Alpharetta. He said he had to sell the house by June, and he didn't know us. But I knew the house, I knew the area, and if he listened to us on the price, I knew we'd have the house sold. I mean, it wasn't an option. And I literally looked at him and I said, look, I'm so confident I can get your house sold, I'll take a 30-day listing. Just give me 30 days. And if you like what I'm doing and we've had some response, we can extend it. If you don't, no skin off my back, fire me. I'm going to take the risk with professional photography. I'm going to pay to have my stager come in and give you pointers. And he's like, okay. And the reason I did that is I knew the area, I knew the house, I knew the price point. But he had to agree what price, he had to listen to the stager and had to do what we wanted. We're under contract in 16 days. We closed in less than a month. So we closed June 15th. So I knew, so that's why some agents will say, on a sales pitch, they may say, I'll take 30 days listing. Because if you know the area, they'll do it. Others will say, give me 30 days, because they're hoping, okay, after 30 days they finally built a rapport that they can extend it. Some sellers are like, screw you, you didn't do it, and they cut it.
Yeah.
And others will then extend it, and sometimes it's for a new FMLS number. So it really varies. It just depends on your sales technique. I mean, if you know the area, know the property, and you know you can get it sold. If I walk into your house and I'm talking to you, and I say, look, I know I can get it sold out 30 days. Everybody else is going to ask you for 6 months, 120 days, whatever. I'm so confident in what I do. If you listen to me, I can get it sold. Does that make you stand out above?
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst you got to lose? You never get, if you get the listing, you have the opportunity. If you don't get the listing because you're the same as everybody else, well, so that could be why.
And these are like the Easter eggs you'll catch in the sales meeting, stuff like
No,
that.
that's a
Stuff
great
like
idea.
that right there.
So that answers why 30 days, 45 days. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Yep. All right, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
So as we were talking about as prospecting, right? So tell me some prospecting opportunities. If you get, who likes nets, right? Tell me somebody give me a prospecting. Come on, let's go. Come on. We need sugar.
I mean, I just talk to people wherever I go, like Lowe's, Home Depot.
Lowe's, Home Depot. Okay, come on.
Calling expires.
Calling expires. Okay, come on.
Having pool parties during the summer.
Perfect. Come on. All right. All right, come on. You can get another minute. It's not limited to one. Come on. Come on. All right.
I go to networking events, and then
Okay, come on. All right. One. Give me one. What is one prospecting opportunity? You can do it. Come on, both of you. Come on.
Going to the meetings for my 501c3 nonprofit.
Perfect.
Networking at your daycare.
Come on.
Where are your names hanging?
Oh, perfect. Come on. All right, now here we're done. Here you go. You're gonna try again.
Okay, I can-
Oh.
Yeah,
I blame it on the thrower. All right.
now you can't.
My goodness.
Okay.
Let's
so,
let it go.
So, prospecting. Okay. Y'all have all seen these minutes, right?
Yes.
Right? Everybody know of Costco?
Yes. Yes. My
Seven?
horse farm loves those things. But
What is it? Your horse farm?
Yes. We operate a therapy ranch in Snellville.
Okay. $8, right?
Yeah.
What does that say? Looking for your next sweet deal. We sell ATL. That's me. That's my website. I take that to HR people. I take it to places I know that have a lot of walk-in traffic that I have relationships with. And so Doug, who owns a group called Health Markets, he works mostly with seniors, the Medicaid, Medicare, the donut plans and stuff like that. So his clientele mostly is 65 and older, and then of course their kids that come in with them. So this is sitting in between the two chairs in his waiting office. Okay, it's way of prospecting, right? I also have a little plastic that has my business cards in front of them. But what also makes me do, I know that I have to go call on these people to make sure these are full. So I put one out, I carry another one in my car, and I have a schedule, and I drive by, and I also joke with them, hey, if it's getting low, let me know, and I'll come by and fill it up. But I walk in, whether unannounced, I don't typically schedule. I'd say, oh, I was in the area, I just want to make sure your mints are full, because they may be with a client, they may not be there. So after a month of going, 3 months of going into Dave's office, and secretary always grumpy, never smiles. I said good morning, and she said, oh, the mint guy's here. Now
The mint guy.
The mint guy. Not,
You can wear a T-shirt, like number 3, mint guy.
I'm not the real estate agent in her eyes. I was the mint guy.
Mint
And I said, do you like the mints? I said, is there a different kind of mint? Oh, I love it. They love them. It's like going to a restaurant. These are people that put handfuls, and you would think they've never seen mints before. So I asked her, I said, well, do you like them? She said, no, I'm an Altoid person. Okay. So we're talking, and I said, so do you own your home? And we had this conversation. She told me she owned her home, that her kids had graduated, and she's thinking about downsizing. It's okay. Next week I was at Costco and I bought a box of Mentos. Now those, Mentos Altoids. That's a little more expensive because those things are like $2 something. Put a little ribbon around it, put a little thing saying, "These are for you, and hopefully you'll think of me every time you need a mint." She sent me 2 referrals last week. I'm the mint guy.
You're the mint guy.
Find something else.
Whatever
you
it
can
takes.
do whatever it takes. Prospecting. So she very rarely would talk to me. Finally, whatever, I guess it was repetitive, saw my face, I always smiled, found out that she didn't like these, that she liked Altoids. All are Altoids. Find what it is to help you prospect. Okay. So, sources of prospecting. We've been over what, the phone, right? Everybody familiar with door knocking?
Yes.
Everybody understand what door knocking is?
Yes.
Anybody scared of going door knocking? No?
Really?
No? Good. Okay.
Would you,
Yes.
question, would
Yes.
you consider like a little pamphlet and sliding it in the flag on their mailbox? Would that be considered door knocking, or is that?
Door knocking is you knock on the door. Don't ring the doorbell. You knock on the door.
That's,
Oh, man.
But you, whatever it takes. I will tell you this, you're not allowed to put anything in a mailbox.
right.
But you can put it on the flag, you can put it on the post.
Yeah.
But if you put it there, it's gonna get thrown away.
And you can have a little bag, the little bags you can get at Costco or the U-Line. You can put your stuff in there.
We're gonna take a break in a minute. I'm gonna go show y'all a source. You can get free door knocking, door hangers.
Oh,
For those-
perfect. That's
For
great.
those that you don't talk to. But you have to knock on the door. You don't ring the doorbell, you knock on the door. Especially nowadays, a lot of people have those rings. Those you do have to push, but I always knock first. Okay. Expire to withdrawals, we kind of talked about how to get to them and so forth through the FMLS. I don't know if there's a written rule. I have a unwritten rule. Would have to probably ask Stacy. I typically do not call Keller Williams agents clients without calling the agent first and saying, "I noticed the property was withdrawn or expired. Can you tell me what happened? Is it okay to call your client?" I think it's a courtesy thing. I don't know if it's a rule, but to me, we're a family and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You do what you want to do, but that's just me. Open houses, has any of y'all have they done the class on open houses yet? No. So open
No, but
houses.
I did the volunteer and go and work an open house for another agent. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I got a couple of leads from that,
Yeah.
and they turned out to be decent.
Yeah, I did an
Nice
open
client.
house this past Saturday and the Saturday before,
Good.
and I got about 5 or 6.
If you want to do open houses, there's a Rawls group. Are y'all familiar with the Facebook page, Rawls group? You can put it on there. Felicia will send out your name and number. If you're uncomfortable because you haven't done an open house, find another agent and say, "I want to shadow you. Can I come with you?" Whoever we meet, they all go to you. I just want to learn. Agents will do that. If it's a bigger house or a spread out house, without a doubt, because it helps cover the area, do that until you're comfortable, but open houses are great. And the key to getting more open houses, as an agent that's asking people to do open houses, is feedback. Give me feedback. Tell me what's going on. Tell me how many people. Lock up the house. Turn off the lights. Those. When you do open house signs and banners and whatever you do put out, okay, your stuff, make sure that you know the sign ordinance. Some places now you cannot have balloons. Because guess what? If you get fined, they're going to the agent. Because that's whose name's going to be on the sign. But the agent's going to come back and say, "Did you not look up that you can't have balloons? Or did you not look up you can't put it out before Friday at 12? Or did you not find out that you had to have a, what are those things called? For sign little things, some of the county, Roswell, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Roswell is a stickler, even on open house signs. You know, if you put them out after 5 on Friday, you're typically okay. You better pick them up on Sunday. No balloons. Know the area. Okay? And do what's called you know what prospect circling is for an open house? Y'all ever heard of that term?
Yes.
So two things when I do open houses that I do. The first, if I'm doing an open house on a Sunday or a Saturday, and I'm putting my sons out on Friday, I knock around the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Hey, Eddie Levin, I just want you to know we're having an open house. We'd love for you to come. There may be a little bit more traffic. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. We'd love to come, because who comes through open house first? Always the nosy neighbor, right?
The neighbors.
So if you're knocking on the door, that's the first met, right?
Some knows them.
They met you. They understand. Oh my God, he's coming out. Somebody will say, well, why are you doing that? I'm trying to drum up business to sell the house. What other agents do you know? They're trying to sell the house. Well, I'm not looking to sell my house. I said, we're not asking you to buy the house, but I bet you know somebody that might be wanting to live in this neighborhood. You need to tell them about our open house. So I knock. Some people that buy the RedX or the Mojo dialer, you can get the numbers of the neighbors and you can call them. Okay, if my client is willing, I'll ask them to go on their HOA list and give me their neighbor's phone numbers so I can call them. Hey, just want to let you know we're having an open house, just so you know there may be a little bit more traffic. We'd love for you to come by and check out the house. We're going to let neighbors come in. Our open house is from 2 to 5. We're going to let neighbors come in starting at 1:30 for a private viewing if you'd like to come by.
Do you usually put those names in your database?
Do
Those
what?
contacts that you get
At an open house or from the
from the neighbor?
No. Because they didn't ask to be on my mailing list, and I want to have a conversation with them because you
No,
can-
but in case that you want to start like making a 8x8, you know?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I don't. I still get permission before.
Before.
Yeah. Yes. But that's another way. Agent referrals are very good, and social media, which we're going to discuss in a little bit later. You know, and some people do social media to the T, and the other of us put, I'm looking for a divorce attorney, which is not the right way to go.
Yeah.
So,
Excuse me.
why don't we take a quick 5-10 minute break? I'll go. Let's just do 5 minutes because I'd like to go through as much as we can, and then if we have time, go over scripts and some of the questions and stuff. So let's take a quick 5 minutes, get some water, go to the restroom. I'm gonna go get a sample of the door knockings that I was talking about, a way you can do it for free, and we'll be right back. Answer phone calls, whatever you need, and 11:30 we'll come right back and get started.
Turn that lock when you go out here, so that way you can come back in.
Thank you.
Excellent. Do you know the Wi-Fi password, anyone?
I think she said it's lowercase a, just 10 times.
Lowercase a.
Yeah. 10 lowercase a's.
10 lowercase a's, that's it?
Yes.
You're kidding.
I believe that's what she told Gerard yesterday.
Gosh, you're kidding me. That's really weird. Is it KWAP net
I don't know.
or KWAP 5G?
I have no idea.
Oh my God, you're right. It was 10 lowercase a's. Thank you so much for that
You're
information.
welcome.
I really, really appreciate it. Okay. Listen, I'm gonna have an open house in Dunwoody.
Are you?
It's a listing that I have. It's 459,900. Bill Haas just sold the property next door. He's one of our founding members of this particular group here. He sold the house next door 2 weeks ago for $462,500. Okay, so I would like you to consider doing that open house with me.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And then that way, if we get, folks coming that you could add to your database and get started with, that might be a good idea. I've already door knocked the subdivision. It's a huge subdivision, so there's plenty more to door knock. But just right around it, just so you know, I've already gotten, because my bestie lives right across the street from my listing.
Okay.
So you have a
So,
listing already.
oh yeah,
Can-
thank you.
So-
Oh, no, I didn't mean to be like that. I'm sorry, I
That's
didn't mean
good.
for that to come
That's
across
exciting.
like that. But, yeah, I do commercial,
Oh.
and I'm just starting in residential.
Oh, so you've done, okay.
And I'm just trying to figure it out because
It's different beast.
it's crazy different. It's totally different. And so anyway, I'd like for you to help me.
I would
Could you
love
help
to.
me?
Absolutely.
Where's the listing?
It's in Dunwoody, 459.9. It's off Seton,
Okay, right around the corner.
Kingsley.
Yeah, do you live in the area, or do you
Uh,
just have a friend of yours?
No.
Because you were saying Forsyth before on something else.
Yeah, I've got one there too. And
Look at you,
Tony-
girl!
Well, that's again a friend. It's
It
like,
does not matter. It's a listing.
can you tell me that I was embarrassed and at first and scared to death, okay? I would have probably just freaked completely had Stacy not been like, because I started commercial and people started saying, "There's gonna be someone else. My daughter has a house in Cumming, can you list the house?" And I was like, sure.
Did you answer a question? No, just kidding.
Thinking in the back of my head, oh my God, I've never done this before in my life.
That's amazing.
Because you know what? If it's a friend or a friend of the family or somebody that wants you to do it,
Yeah.
they know your situation and they're willing to come to you.
Right.
And those are the best people. Because the one thing, so when I was at a small brokerage. There were Sam, who's one of my partners, was with me. But it was me, Sam, and another gentleman named Mark, the three of us. And there was the only support was each other. There was no training. I learned everything I learned on the fly, on the go. Took classes and stuff like that. But when I started interviewing to leave Wilshire and to get out of the property management side and going here, and how I ended up here, because I knew a lot of agents. I knew a lot of people in the business.
Well, yes, you did property management, my gosh, you were like their right hand.
The support staff that you'll find at Keller Williams, in this office in particular, not putting down any other office, everybody's willing to help you.
Yeah.
If someone calls you tomorrow and says, "I want you to come list my house," you can come to Stacy. I'll come help you. You can say, they say, "Well, you just got started. What kind of you have staff and knowledge and support of multiple years." Now, not every agent is going to do that. Let's face that. Okay, but there's enough of us around that are more than willing to. Bjorn, who joined our team, Bjorn was on his own for a year, but he would come because he would come and ask question after question after question after question, and whatever he needed, we helped. Okay, and now he's joined our team. And I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, if you're scared because someone wants you to give them a listing presentation or talk to them, you're going to be scared. If you're not scared, something's wrong with you. I mean, even every time I go, there's something but know that you can bring somebody with you. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Back up. That's awesome. Yes, that's perfect.
I mean, we can go over your presentation. You're going to go over, I don't think presentations, how to write them, how to do them, how to do it. and you're gonna give a listing presentation at the end too. Okay, you're going to be given a house, and you're going to, but, like, you already have two, right? So if someone came to you tomorrow and said, because you know, you passed your class, right? You need to get out on the, however you're gonna meet, you said you did something for advocate, voice for people, right?
Victim advocate.
Or what kind of?
Victim.
Okay, so you were a voice for people, right?
Mhm.
So now you're a voice for you.
Excuse me.
Okay, so, and I keep looking at you because you're quiet, but I'm gonna pull it out of you. But if, I'm telling you, you come and you grab me, or you grab Stacy, and you grab Diane, and say, I got a little, the person wants me to list their house, but I need help.
Okay.
That's what drew me to this office. The people around here, it is amazing. I mean, there's 300 agents in this office, and not everybody's gonna do that. Okay?
Right.
But you probably, whoever, the group you work with, are probably people that are more than willing to help because that was John's background.
Mhm.
That's what y'all wanted to do. You wanted to help people. And I'm sure there are people in your office that are like, I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
It's everywhere. But the majority of the people in here, are, it's a family. My wife is a mortgage broker. She used to be with Certainty. She just left. I don't know if y'all were at the meeting Tuesday when they announced that she left. She went back into what's called the broker world. There's a bank world and a broker world in the mortgage. And she went back to the broker world. But agents call her, even, and she's not even doing the deal. Some other mortgage picks up, she'll answer questions. So don't, you know, if you have a mortgage question, if you're not sure, ask. Everybody around here, and that's what drew me to this office. I mean, everybody around here is willing, more than willing to help. You just gotta, for any of y'all, just, you know, ask the questions. Go, you know, we all want you to succeed. Did an agent bring you, like, is someone that's in this office bring you here, or?
Yeah, Nicole Ambrose.
Okay. Yeah, so there's always people. Just take advantage of what you can. You know, just, you know, don't get out there and just go to the top of the building. What is it? Go to the top of the mountain and shout from your lungs what you do. And it's hard. You're coming from a whole, there's no sales in what you told me you've done.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I sold Kirby's door to door.
You sold what?
Kirby's vacuum cleaners.
You sold vacuum cleaners door to door.
Mm-hmm.
And this should be a breeze.
This should be a breeze, honey.
With what?
My only issue with that was the dogs. I'm scared of dogs, and I would get chased
Oh,
by
reliable,
dogs.
yes.
So I have two
Big dogs or little dogs?
No, big dogs.
This is the big dogs.
German Shepherds,
German-
Saint Bernards.
Ah.
They're the
Those
friendly.
ones, yeah, that's the
So I
little
have,
ones.
I have two purebred mice. They're about- I have, they're purebred mice. So I was working from home yesterday afternoon, and my daughter, I have twins, and so they're home from college, and she's like,
Not today.
Dogs were barking like
I need to
crazy.
check. It's actually my mother's house, so.
you know, I'm on the phone, and they're like, Molly,
She,
hitting
let me
you.
call you back.
Hey, the dogs. She goes, well, somebody's walking up the street. I said, open the door. And I have electric fence, invisible fence around the thing. Open it, get him. I'm on the phone. Get him out of the house. And they have the most ferocious. But if you go close to them, they're going to stop barking and lay on their side so you can pet them. So this guy, well, he was selling something door to door because you know, and so he's walking and they're just, and they won't go past a certain point because of the fence, the electric fence. And Nessie, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I'll show you a picture of her. She's so cute. She's growling. And my daughter's watching because she's like, you know, it's like, well, if he starts walking up, go get the dogs, you know, because I don't want. And she says he's walking, and she's all sick of this. And he's like, he turned his back to him. I mean, but the little ones, the big ones are the breeze. The little ones are the ones you have to worry about. They nip, and mine don't, but.
There was
Mine
one
just
with
pretend like
the
they're.
big ones, the little ones, and I would be gone like.
So take some, okay, I will say this. Safety is always the most important thing. If you're doing an open house, you should always have a plan if you're by yourself. If you go door knocking, you should really take somebody with you. It's great if y'all pair, like, what part of town are you?
I'm in Snellville.
You're in Snellville. Where are you thinking?
I live in East Point.
East Point, okay. Where are y'all around here?
Yeah, we're looking.
We're Brookhaven.
Yeah, so, but find somebody you can team up with. And I don't even go door knocking by myself. Oh my God. No, it's just today's world. You just,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and so what we do is we partner up, and you know, you do this door, you do this door, you do this door, you do this. What's up, Mr. John?
How are you?
This is John Damiano. John and I go back 312 years. We started, he was with Remax and I was in the mortgage business. That's how small of a world the real estate market is.
Right.
What was that, 16 years ago?
It was 2001.
Yeah, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't know John.
18.
18 years
ago.
He said math was my specialty. 18 years ago. So John was with Remax, ended up here. Then went from mortgage to Wilshire Properties, and then I ended up here. John's got a great team. John is full of knowledge. He will help you out. Him and his group, Clax and the rest of them, they're very. I was telling him about one of the things I love about this office is not to be afraid to ask. Everybody is willing to.
We have an open door. What are you teaching?
Finding business. Finding your
good.
business.
Excellent.
So, but he's a great resource.
There's an event going on every day in Atlanta, probably 20 or 30, that you can meet people. Take advantage.
Yeah, thanks.
Take care.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. She should be back in a second.
Yeah, I did an open house Saturdays ago.
But
And I was scared as hell. Like, I was talking to people and sweat just started pouring down my forehead. because-
door knocking?
No, I did an open house.
Oh, open house.
And I'm not afraid of public speaking because, you know, I did Toastmasters like for a while, for a long time. But it was just, this was a new area for me, so I was just nervous. And like we were talking about yesterday, I didn't want nobody to ask me, how long have you been doing in real estate? How long have you been selling real estate? How many houses have you sold?
Right.
And I don't want to be, you know, telling a goose egg or zilch, you know, just, but.
Do you know what your answer is?
Yeah, I just said a while.
Okay, that's one answer. What would be your answer? If someone said to you, you're doing an open house, and said, well, how many houses have you sold? How long have you been doing it?
It was to say Keller Williams is a, what did she say yesterday?
So use the Keller Williams stats.
You know, I'm so glad you asked that question. My team and I have multiple years of experience. I specialize right now in working with buyers. I'm helping out Eddie Levin, this is his open house, so we can show it, looking for buyers. So on the sales side, my team and I have multiple years of experience. And I'd be happy to sit down with you and find out what your needs are, and I know we can get it taken care of. If you push me for how many houses?
How many houses have you sold so far?
I said, honestly, I haven't sold the first house.
All right.
But my team, as I said, has multiple years of experience. I have a staff that's behind me, and I'm hungry. And I will do what it takes to bend over backwards to make sure your house is sold, or if you're looking to buy, to find you that perfect house. Some agents out there have multiple clients right now, and they may push you off to an associate. I will give you my 100% of my attention right now because I'm new in the business. Take a chance on me and let me show you how I will exceed your expectations. What is somebody going to say then? Well, screw you.
Yeah, yes or no?
Yeah. If they say no, what do we go back to? They weren't part of your future.
Yeah.
But if you say it the right way and you're confident, you're smart. What's it's all about? Well, why? If I hadn't interviewed any other agents, why wouldn't I give you a chance? My team. We're a team. You know that. So that's one way you can get over that. We all start somewhere. You know. Did anybody ever ask you how many vacuum cleaners you sold?
No, their number one question was, did I own one?
Right, okay, did you own one?
I did not.
Okay, but you overcame it, right? Somehow.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, it was amazing.
Right, yeah.
I think because I believed in the machine, it was like easy to like make
Believe in
the sale.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right, believe yourself. We all have to start somewhere, right? I mean, even if you're a doctor, you know.
That's a scary prospect.
But you got.
I've never done a knee surgery before, but I have an entire team here just waiting to
But
resuscitate
I'm saying
you when
is-
it doesn't work
but I'm
out.
just saying you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so as long as you know that script,
Mhm.
what is my comfortable script, and let them ask you questions, or you ask them questions, what are you looking to, you know, change it.
Yeah.
Change the focus. When are you looking to sell? Where's your house located? How long have you been there? Why are you thinking about selling your house?
Right.
Have you interviewed other agents? What are you looking for in an agent? I'm looking for someone that's bilingual. You know what? I'm not bilingual, but I do have someone in my office that is bilingual. Let me introduce you. Okay? Because let me ask you this. If you found somebody that is bilingual, what's the other language? Spanish?
Spanish.
Okay. God, you're going to make a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many people I've in the past that said, "Do you speak Spanish?" No. Okay. If you say to her, "I got Eddie, he needs a bilingual agent," you're going to say, "I'll take care of him, right?" And what are you going to do? You're going to pay you a referral. Okay?
Okay.
So, and another thing is, if it's an experienced agent, when you're saying you're passing the referral, I'm working with, as a matter of fact, I'm working with an agent that we did from Ignite. She was introduced to somebody that's looking at selling their house in St. Marlo's. If you're anybody familiar with St. Marlo's, it's a private golf community.
Okay.
Brand new agent. So they wanted somebody more expensive. She goes, "Look, I have the perfect person for you that knows the area and everything. He'll take care of you." So she called me. She told me. I said, "You know what? I'm going to pay you the referral, but I want you to be involved every step of the way." So she's learning as I go, and she's still making money. Now, had she told me, "I'm just turning over the referral to you," I would have been like, "Okay, fine." But she wants to learn, and that's how it's going to do it.
That's
Team up.
awesome.
Okay, so everybody here on a budget? Not a budget? We have great vendors that work with us. So we're talking about door knocking. So this is from First Home Warranty. They will give these to you all day long. And you put your card on it. So if you didn't talk to somebody, oh, my cards. No, I'll get my card. And if you don't get to talk to somebody, you're talking about putting it on the door. This is an inexpensive way to have it if you're doing door knocking. Okay?
Good gracious.
Because mostly what happens is they see it on the door and maybe they toss it or whatever, but your card's there. And it's free. So that is, that is a great, inexpensive, and they'll give them to you.
Okay.
Okay? It takes her about, I think it took her a week to get, she sent me 250 of them.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
Okay.
wonderful. And
So-
you can have these for free?
She'll give them to you for free, and there's other vendors that will do it too. And it's a home warranty, because you're advertising for her, and it's something to leave at the door. Somebody was asking about putting things on the thing for doors. Okay, so door knocking and farming. So we're kind of talking about the same. Farming an area. I don't live in a subdivision as an HOA or a pool or anything like that. I live on a street that has 12 homes. So it's very easy to farm my neighborhood. I know all 12 of my neighbors. But I do farm a neighborhood around the corner. I door knocked the neighborhood. Last year I sponsored the swim team. I had my banner, in the pool. It's $145 for the banner in the pool. I send postcards to them on a regular basis, and I farm it. Farming takes a while. And if you live in a community that has HOAs and stuff like that, farm your neighborhood. That's where you live. Meet your neighbors. You're going to be the first one to know when somebody's selling. You're going to be the first one to know when somebody's going through a divorce. You're going to be the first one that, if you're in a neighborhood, use it to your advantage. So this year I called to ask to put another banner up in the swim team, and There's an agent that got mad at me because I was farming her neighborhood, and she got on the board of the HOA.
Oh, my goodness.
So guess whose banner's not there after 3 years? It's part of life. I'm not giving up.
It is part
All
of
right?
it.
I've sold, bought or sold 7 homes in that neighborhood. I'm
Wow.
going to continue, but she saw what I was doing. She got on the board. Their supposedly policy is no advertising and banner, so I'm waiting to go in a couple of weeks, about mid-June, to see if it's up. So don't be discouraged, it can happen, but if you live in the neighborhood, it's a great way to farm it. If you, if you live in an apartment complex, if you don't own a home, you live in an apartment complex, it's a great thing to farm, right? Farm your apartment complex. There, people are gonna move. And if you're in one of the fancy apartments where they have a concierge at the bottom, they know everything. Get to know them.
Oh, yeah.
And you're already living there. Get to know them. Any questions on door knocking and farming? No? All right, so what is an FSBO?
FSBO, for sale by owner.
What is a FSBO?
For sale by owner.
For sale by owner. What's exciting about a FSBO? They got a sign in their yard. What's exciting about a FSBO?
One is not listed on MLS. So
It may be listed
It may
on
be.
MLS.
They don't have an agent.
They don't, obviously they don't, they're selling by themselves.
Right.
But why do people call for sale by owners? They have a motivation. They want to sell. They just don't realize that they're giving up money by trying to do it themselves. Offer, if there's a for sale by owner in the area, in your neighborhood, whatever, knock on the door. Offer something. Say, look, I see you're selling your home for sale by owner.
Right.
Have you ever thought, I'd love to advertise and do an open house for you if you're interested, and get all I'm asking is for an one-day listing. Anybody that comes in here that's not interested, that becomes, now you're getting prospects. But if you sell the house on that end, I have exclusives to represent them buying the home. Okay? You can offer, because like in DeKalb County, has anybody, you haven't probably learned about this yet, but there's a thing called a low flow toilet in DeKalb County. There's a form you have to sign at closing. It has to be part of your thing. Yes?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it okay for the agents to change? I know they want to protect the listing, but once they expire, is it okay for them to change the owner's name for their name?
I never put the owner's name in.
I always put mine.
It's my name.
Oh,
My name,
I'm
my
talking
number.
about the tax section.
Oh, no, you can't touch that.
Okay.
Tax records are set by the state. I can't go in. Are you looking at FMLF?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I just realized that the same person. I mean, it's the same. He's selling. I guess he's the owner.
that's a LLC. He's probably in it. He probably is an owner partner of the thing. No, you can't change the tax records. I don't put the owner's information in there unless the owner wants to be contacted directly. Because why give up your client?
Oh yeah.
But for sale by owners, they're motivated. They want to sell. There's a reason they want to sell. They may not be realistic at the price, but you got to find out what their motivation is. So by offering a service free of charge. Let me be happy to give you a sample of docs that you may not have thought about. Get in, call them. Hey, how's it going? Anything I can help you with? I have a packet that's already pre-made up that I keep in my car. And if I see it for sale by owner, I'll pull the car up, I'll go knock on the door, and if they answer, say, look, I'm going on my way to an appointment, this is some information that might be able to help you sell your home. Review it, can I call you next week, and we can talk about it. I'd love to talk now, but I don't have time. Here it is. And I leave, and I call them next week. So, it's there.
I read, I think it was in the Red Book, or don't remember where, they usually sell by owners, hire the first agent that actually contacts them.
It's who stays in touch with them, I guess. It's whatever. I don't know the statistic on that, but I will tell you there's a NAR statistic somewhere, and I don't know off the top of my head, that you can print out and show them that if they sell with an agent, they're likely to sell faster and for more money than if they sell by themselves. And a lot of agents will do everything in their possibly not to show a home for sale by owner to their client because they don't want to have to deal with all the paperwork and headaches. There's no barrier between the seller and you. There's no they are emotionally attached. It's not a business decision. That's one of the things that us as agents do. We take the emotion away from the seller. We're the buffer. We're the negotiator. We're the mediator. For sale by owner lives in a castle. They think it's a castle. They've lived there. Someone does an inspection and tears them up. They're like, no. Us as agents, we can sit them down and go through. That's why. So if they, what do I need an agent for? Well, we're taking the emotion away from you. We're helping you. We're making sure you get the best price. We're making sure you're not taken advantage of. Most people that are for sale by owners think they know everything and they can do it themselves. And most of them, I forgot the percentage, are going to use an agent. So if you can get in and stay in touch with them, more power to you. Okay.
When you're doing that, do you ever offer them a discount on the real estate commission? Because that's sometimes the part that they think is the piece that they don't want to hire a real estate agent or save those costs or something like that. How would you work that if it was a money-driven person?
Everybody's money-driven. Everybody's money-driven, right? My job is to sell your home for the most money possible in the least amount of time, correct? What do you do for a living? You're a lawyer. Would you cut your fees? Because I could go to Office Depot and buy a will on a disc for $35. You're $135 an hour. You earn what you earn, correct? Because you're good at it. I'm good at my job. Let me earn more money for you. Do it correctly in a short amount of time without the headaches. And we all win. Shut up. And see what they say. Well, I had another agent that's willing, so let's say they say, well, I had another agent that came in and said they'll sell it for 1% or 2%, right? Hey, that's great. And part of my job is to negotiate for you, correct? I'm already cutting my commission. What am I going to do when the other agent wants to negotiate stuff? Do you think I'm going to go to bat for you? I am, because I want you to earn as much as possible. If I cut my commission to 1% or 2%, what's my incentive? My incentive is just to get it done, right? So if that other agent's asking for $5,000 in closing costs, I want to get this done. Hey, you know what? This is a really good deal. We should get the $5,000 in closing costs. I want to be done. I'm cutting my commission. I want to be done with you. So if you want to go with somebody who wants to cut the commission, cut your commission. You want somebody that's looking out for you and going to bat for you as my #1 priority, I earn it, I deserve it, and I fight for it. But if you want me to go ahead and cut my commission, fine. You want to use somebody who wants 1%? Fine. That's another thing. Another thing I do if they keep pushing me, see if I have, and I always have this in my pocket if I'm going on a listing presentation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Typical transactions, what, 6%?
Correct.
Correct. So, you want me to cut my commission. I understand that. Let me just tell you a little bit about it. We're going to list your house for we're going to charge 6%, correct? We're going to give 3% to the other agent for bringing us a client, right? 1, 2, 3. That goes to the agent over there. I got, whoops, can't count. I got 3 more percent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who does that go to?
The broker.
That goes to Uncle Sam. Because guess who gets his money regardless? Uncle Sam.
Yep.
Right.
This goes to my broker,
Mm-hmm.
right? This goes to me. But what do I use this for? I use this to market your house. I use this to pay for professional photos. I use this for signage. I use this for social media. So it's not really true 1%, when at the end of the day, it's probably less than half of this. Oh, and then I have to pay taxes. You already saw that, right? So if I give away this to sell your house for 2%, who's gonna lose? I gotta pay Uncle Sam, and my broker is gonna make me pay him. So if you wanna take and market it, I'll give you all the cost. You want me to sell it for only 2%? I gotta take away from my broker, Uncle Sam? Fine, you pay for marketing. You want me to give you the bill? You don't pay me. If we don't sell this house, I lose, but I'm confident in my ability. But if you wanna pay for the photographer, fine. You wanna pay for my home stager? Fine. You wanna pay for my signs? Fine. You'll be very surprised at how quickly it adds up. And if someone is a smart ass and says, yeah, I will, I said, great. My photographer is $400 an hour. It's probably gonna take 3 hours. Now we know it's not $400 an hour, but you can find a photographer to say that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
My sign delivered, just the delivery fee, and this is no joke, is $85. Now, if they're outside a certain metro area, it goes up per mile after that. So there's ways to overcome it. It's your confidence level. Now, if I'm doing both sides of the transaction, if I'm selling their house and buying their house, yeah, I'll probably work with them, but what I do then is I will give you a rebate after the last transaction. So if we sell your house first, when we close on your new house, I'll give you a rebate at whatever's higher, percentage of the higher one. So if we sell it for $400 and we buy it $200, I'm gonna give you I'll give you something for this if they're really pushing, because you're doing both sides. But no, I try never to cut my commission, ever. It's a lot of work we do. People don't realize. They think it's easy. They think we put a sign in the yard, it's easy.
And it's not.
We do a lot of work.
There's more work here than in other areas of real estate.
Right.
it
And
seems.
there's going to be agents that will totally disagree with me, and they'll say, "Oh, get the listing for 2%.
I
Get
love
the listing
dollar
percent for 1%." It's your business. It's your call.
But the dollar thing really works. That's ingenious because you're putting it in something that they can understand.
Right.
That's awesome.
So, I won't ever tell anybody to do. But have I ever cut my commission? Yes. But do I do it on a very rarely? There are other agents that say, I'll do whatever it takes to get the listing. Okay. That's your business. You run your business how you want to run your business. Okay, so we talked about for sale by owners. We'll contacting sale by owners. There's a great script in your book. Go through it. Become, as I said, a trusted resource. Even with for sale by owners, offer them something. Expireds and withdrawals. Expired. Why does an expire happen?
Because maybe the listing agent had it on there for the agreed amount of time for the listing, agreement, and nobody has bought the house in that period of time.
Right. Expireds is a good, you gotta kind of be careful with expireds, because there are some people, as you said, they'll expire just to get a new FMLS number. But typically the three main reasons that a home doesn't sell is price, marketing, and condition, okay? And then really the last one's location, but if they're looking at location. There's really a reason that there's expired. They want to sell their home. There's a motivation, and they've already worked for another agent, so you don't have to really sell yourself. You now have to explain to them, find out why it didn't sell, what they didn't like about that other agent, and how you're better and how you can make it sell. Confirm that it had expired. Again, I don't call Keller Williams agents. That's mine, unless I talk to the agent first. I just think it's a courtesy. Open houses, we talked about, right? Open houses, buyers that are coming through, buyers who are also selling, you might find. Other agents may come through, you might meet. But open houses is a great way to do business. Great way to jumpstart you. I've been doing this for a long time, and I still do open houses for other agents if I have nothing going on. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet. Yep. 4 hours a day, especially now there's no football on. You're laughing.
Yeah, that's not a laughing matter.
And so that Southeastern football, it's
Yeah.
second behind God to some people, and it's first up to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I understand.
But and even when I'm doing an open house, if it's football season, if there's a basement and a man cave, the football game is on in the basement, not upstairs, but in the basement. And when the husband comes in, and it's a nice basement, first thing I'll say is to the husband, "You ought to check out that man cave. The game's on." And I'll take the wife and say, "You ought to check out the kitchen." So, I'm gonna quickly, Stacy has a little PowerPoint that one of the agents in here about social media. I'm not a social media king. There are people that obviously, but it is a great way to do business. Everybody here should have a social media, Facebook. Everybody have a Facebook page?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Everybody have a business Facebook page?
I'm trying to convert mine to business.
No, you don't convert it.
What?
You don't want to convert it. You want your business and you want your personal. Do not, two different things. Things you put up, because Facebook, there are certain things you can't, the rules are you're not supposed to do anything on your personal page about business, but you do it on your Facebook, on your business page, share it on your personal page. So keep your personal on Facebook, but you share it on both.
Gotcha.
Okay?
All right.
So that's why. Don't
Right, 'cause I
don't
was
convert it. Keep it the
Okay.
same.
Because I was just thinking, because I already have, followers or whatever on my personal, I
Yeah.
just changed it to business. And
Nope. They didn't sign up to be your friend on your business. They didn't.
That's true.
Okay, so this is Find Your Business. Is that up full page? No. All right, we there? No? All right, who's the computer person? Where's mine? Why is this not coming?
What are you trying to do?
Trying to get it so it's just this on the page. So you don't see all the other
Oh,
stuff.
click on the download at the bottom left of you.
This?
Yep.
No. All right, well, we'll just get to it. All right, so, and another thing is, you're gonna send out a thing to all your followers that follow you saying, like my business page.
Okay.
It's two separate things. You're not gonna post pictures of your family going out to dinner on your business page. You're gonna do it on your personal page. But you're gonna, you keep it. But you may say, put an update on, we're in summertime, so how to keep your yard from burning out. You're gonna put that on your business page, and then you're gonna share it to your personal page. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You start where you already have followers, kind of like we're talking about before. Sorry, there we go. Know and like and trust. Again, go back to the giver's gain, and her thing was the cocktail party approach. Be more interesting than salesy. Okay? Be intentional about what you post. I'm not going to post a picture of me at the beach because nobody wants to see that. Okay? But they may want to see me, fixing a house or doing that. Business page to the social page. Okay? I'm listing a house, upcoming, it goes to the business page, share it on personal page. Under contract, goes to the business page, share it on the personal page. Facebook, I'm not saying because they're not looking for everybody, but if all they see is business on your personal, they'll shut it down. It takes 7 consecutive touches to recognize you. Now this is interesting. Every 17 days, people forget about what you do, and that is a proof. That is not her. That is a psychological whatever value proof. And I can even do one more. I had a cousin who I was talking to, and I said, "What are you up to?" And she goes, "We're moving." I said, "What's going on?" "Well, she got a job transfer." I hadn't talked to her in a while. We were at a graduation party a couple of years ago, and I said, "Well, great." I said, "I'd love to interview for the job to sell your house." She goes, "Oh, we've already sold it." I used a girl from my tennis team. I totally forgot you were a real estate agent. My bad. Took for granted that they were family. Totally forgot what I was doing. And she's on my email list, but I didn't stay in touch with her. So it happens to everybody. Don't think it just happens to you. Stay in touch. They forget what you're doing. You got to remind them. Email, touch, phone call. Got to do it. Multiple, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You got to do it all. And you got to, what I'm about to say, I'm preaching to what to do, not necessarily what I do. I need to do better. Pay attention to other people's posts. Make comments so they see that you're interacting. Okay? Obviously follow up, ask for business. If anybody IMs you or whatever, Friend request your clients before they're closing. As soon as I meet somebody, I see if they're on Facebook and ask them. Even if they're not a client, but when they become a client, because all their friends are going to see when you close that house. Okay? And under contract. Ask permission to show their house in their picture. Don't take a picture without their permission, because they may not have told their family members or other people that they're selling their house. Ask permission, because that will be the last time they ever do business with you, and it will be the last time they ever refer you. Twitter, how to eat cake on social media. Twitter, I'm eating cake, keep it simple. Facebook, I like. Instagram, you take a picture. It's just different little things. And Stacy's going to email this to y'all, so y'all can read more about it. And we'll get, a lot of people out there do social media real good. Here we go. Create the Facebook business page. Give yourself 5 stars. Most people forget to go and like their own Facebook page. Business page. Get your wife, get your sister, get your children, get whoever's on Facebook, everybody to like it. Just keep users on as long as possible. If you're doing advertising, there are other agents, if y'all are interested in doing Facebook advertising, get with Stacey, she'll get you with them because they do it. Okay, I'm not going to be one to tell you I don't pay for Facebook advertising. There are a lot of agents out there that do it, and they do it well. So I'm not really the person to talk about that. Just know that it is a way to increase your business. And if it's something you're interested in, again, there's plenty of people in here we can introduce you to that will tell you about it.
Use like a good person, just like top of head.
Makisha is good. If trying to think there's 3 or 4 that do it really well. I'm just trying. Why'd you ask me that?
Because you were talking about social media.
No.
Just kidding here.
Kevin Rose, I don't think pays for ads, but he's all over it. Kevin Pelkey's all over Facebook. I don't know if he pays to post, but he's all over. Stacy probably has a list of who really does it really, really well.
Usually, yeah.
There's a husband and wife team that buy leads and they convert them. And I've spoken to them and met them a couple of times. So if you're thinking about going that route, I would ask Stacy about who they are, because there's a science behind it. And he does Facebook and he does Zillow. LinkedIn is great because LinkedIn is business people. Typically, it's business people. So I do LinkedIn. I post on LinkedIn because those are people that are either being transferred or just got a pay raise
or just got a new job.
Right. So I try to go on LinkedIn. I go on LinkedIn more than I go on Facebook, and that's just me because I don't like bragging. Facebook's bragging, LinkedIn is business, and that's how my mind works. That's me. But Facebook is Instagram, Facebook are the way it goes. And there is a way to download, if you are on LinkedIn, you can download all the emails, addresses of all your followers on LinkedIn, and you can add them to your database. So if you have a lot of followers on LinkedIn, it's great, especially now that you're announcing it, download all those emails, send them a personal email. You can do that. You have to build your network. You have to constantly post. You have to constantly comment to people's posts. You have to engage. You can't do it one day a week. You can't do it once a month. And, you got to put stuff up. Hashtag. Put Keller Williams perimeter. Put Brad and put Brad pound Brad and Feynman, Stacy. Push it as much as you can. Again, these are just more ads, putting Atlanta Magazine in links and stuff like that. I've started doing this. Last time, 2 months ago, I was number 2. We were number 2 team, and basically I put on Facebook, I've never been excited to be number 2. And if somebody put on there, said, did you say go number 2 or be number 2? And so we just started the dialogue. And people were putting memes, and we just kept going, and people were just like, when are you going to be number 1? And I said, when I sell your house. And we just kept going and going. They would it interacted people, and that's the whole point. And now all these other people see somebody's interacting with me, and I'm an agent, and they pick up on it. So just get your name out. Again, doing information and more, than just asking. You're giving information out, not just asking for business. Must be related to real estate, can be someone else's thing. This is something that, it's a little contest that I think Stacey will do with you. But there was do you know Miss Cynthia Pierce in the office? Have y'all, Cynthia? So I'm connected with Cynthia on Facebook, and she doesn't post a lot, I don't post a lot either. But there was this guy, he was in that football thing, and he was breaking through class, and it was a little thing, a typical, how a real estate agent feels going through class. And the first one said, we got the contract, and then it was a little bit harder to break through. We got through inspection, and then another one went through. We got through, and he banged into this glass wall like 3 times. Finally, he got through and says, we made it through appraisal. And it was just something funny, so I reshared that, with my things, and someone goes, now I know why Eddie drinks. Now I know why, now I know why I never get to talk to Eddie, and it just started this whole thread, and I'm like responding, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock and I have my network meeting this morning, so I get up at 4:30 for my network meeting to start, so I can shower on time. I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. And Sherry's like, no, you gotta keep responding. I'm like, it'll never stop. But I did, it just created dialogue. Create the dialogue so you can become people can remember you. Twitter, does anybody on Twitter? No? You're on Twitter? You're on Twitter? I don't do Twitter. But Twitter is becoming really big. I mean, you can watch a soccer game on Twitter now. I mean, it's more than just the minimum number of things. So if you do Twitter, it's just another form.
And Instagram too.
Instagram is huge. My kids are on Instagram and constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Pinterest, if you're into fashion, any staging, anything like Pinterest is good. Create a board. It just draws people to you. We're on YouTube. YouTube is big now, so if you don't mind standing in front of a camera, YouTube is another way to go. There's client parties. If everybody heard about client parties, so we did a Derby Day party for the Kentucky Derby, and we gave away a gift certificate for the best hat, best dressed guy. We placed bets on horses. It was just so my friends and my clients just to get together. We're gonna do a crawfish bowl in the summer when it's not as hot, not right now. It just, again, I'm not talking about real estate, but when I send out the Evite, it's from We Sell ATL, Eddie at We Sell ATL. It's my name. Just to stay in front. Popeyes. Who's familiar here with Popeyes? Know what a Popeye? Everybody know what a Popeye is? Oh, yes.
Heard the terminology.
So, Popeyes are a way to stay top of mind on your clients. So, little gift, doesn't have to be anything exciting. little things, and you go pop by the office, or where they work, or their house, whatever the case may be. Kevin, have you met Kevin Prochet? He teaches one of the classes. He's great at them. He's probably the king of Popeyes. This is because Father's Day is coming up, so this is a list of Father's Day Popeye ideas. So typically you're doing this to your better customers, your better referral customers. It's the way of saying thank you, in a sense. So what I also do is if I buy a house for a client that's in a neighborhood, I go to Costco and buy the popcorn. And on the card it says, popping by to introduce you to your newest neighbor. And I get permission first, obviously. And I ask them, is it okay to put your name and your family name and your phone number on this card? If you don't want me to, I won't do it. And basically just popping by to let you know about your newest neighbor. And I put their name in, whatever they give me permission. If it's just name only, some of the name and phone numbers. Well, my last clients, young couple, I had done this for in their neighborhood. And one of the ladies that, like the social media person for the thing, she saw it and we were talking. Well, she scheduled through the neighbors, she actually called me and said, what day are they moving in? And I told her. Well, she got with some of the other neighbors. They had pizza, drinks, cookies, dog treats for the dogs, a cooler full. This is what the neighbors did. I didn't do it to welcome them to the neighborhood. My clients went on social media and took that, and if it was, and posted it everywhere. Well, and they said, "What other agent takes care of you like this one?" And they took. I didn't ask for it. It's free advertising. So it's those little things that you do. Here's one. Just popping by to refresh your memory that I'm never too busy for your referral. And you take a little packet of lemonade. So these are great. You don't do it to every one of your clients. You do it to the ones that are really kind of your important clients. All right, so I know we've gone kind of fast, and I did that kind of on purpose so we can kind of review, because there are going to be a lot of questions that are going to be on the thing. Before we're going to start our review, does anybody have any questions about pop by, for sale by owners, prospecting, sphere of info, anything, any questions for me? No, yes?
What is your best advice if you want to start calling expires?
What is the best advice? Sit down and do it.
Can do it.
I mean, what?
Again, I've got that
Pick,
one question coming up.
what area are you going to do? Know the area. So if you're doing expireds by, you said you lived in Brookhaven?
I was born and raised in Brookhaven.
So is that, what part of Brookhaven are you at? Where y'all living at?
Berwick?
Right near, Berwick subdivision, right near Marist High School.
Okay, right over by
Ashford,
the ball fields and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So do a geographical area because you know the area, right? So if you're looking at expireds and you know it is West Nancy Creek, which is right over there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the West Nancy Creek right now, as you know, there have been people that are paying $400,000 to tear down a house to build a mini mansion, and there's been $400,000 houses, homes for $500,000 and need $200,000. So you know the area, right? So when you look at an expired, and you say, okay, so let's say it was a $400,000, the listing was $600,000, it hadn't sold. And you look at the pictures, you're like, well, the reason it hadn't sold for $600,000, you can't tear it down for $600,000, it needs too much work. Picking up the phone and say, look, calling you about your, notice that you hadn't expired, just curious, are you still interested in selling? I'd love to interview for the job. Can you tell me, did you have any offers? What were you looking for, blah, blah, blah. I live in the area and I know the area, just want to let you know. One of the things that I would recommend and would love to come out and show you is based on the pictures, and it could be the pictures, and I use a professional photographer to help us out. The house is a little high. Let me show you what the CMA is. Okay, let me come out and don't ever, and everybody will disagree, people will disagree with me. don't give away the information free without you meeting with them. They say, oh, well, tell me what you think it's worth. I can't tell you that over the phone. I don't know what the inside looks like, can I? Well, the other agent said that the house should sell for $600. Did they come look at the house? Get in front of them. Don't say I'll email you, because all you do is you do the work and you email it to them, and then another agent,
Comes
all
in.
you're doing is either justifying what that other agent they've already talked to said, or you're making the other agent get in front of them. Say, I would love to meet with you, but I have to walk the house.
One of the things I've noticed when you're talking in a mock scenario that you're really good at is listening for the objection and knowing that objection's coming. That way, when you overcome it, it makes it that much more of a compelling reason for them to
Right.
continue connecting with you.
You have to know what you have to know the pain.
What are the rejections?
What is the pain? What is the pain?
Solutions only.
And then solve it. Yes.
All right, I'm dealing with an issue right now I may need your immediate assistance with. I have a client that her taste is way above her price point, and I'm sending her nice properties, and she's just declining everything. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I don't call it a dirty trick I just played on her, but I sent her a listing, but I just took the photos from the Georgia MLS listing of something that's out of her price point, of just the inside. Like the kitchen had granite countertops and hardwood and stainless steel everywhere.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Let's set an appointment. I said, this is $65,000, $70,000 above your price point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you did the Property Brothers.
You did the Property Brothers thing.
Yes,
So
you
let me.
did.
So
And
let me.
she-
No, I just did it because everything that I've sent her
Right.
and her price point, she's,
So is she a first-time home buyer?
This is
Yes.
the- this is
Okay, she's a first-time home buyer. Have y'all been out? Not through pictures. You've been out to look at homes
several times.
several times. And she's been pre-approved,
Yes.
not pre-qualified. Pre-approved. We
Yes.
know. Everybody know what the difference is, right?
Yes.
If
Yes.
you don't ask, no,
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, fine. Pre-qualified is mortgage broker picks up the phone, says, "Do you have a job?" Yes. How much money do you make?
Oh, they haven't done the formal
Right.
processing.
Right.
Based on what you're telling me, I think you can afford this. Never,
Go with
ever. You do what you want to do.
No, I have
And
a
I learned the
pre-approval
hard way.
letter.
Make sure they're pre-approved and never put somebody in a car and waste your time until you know.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is the way to. She has champagne taste on a McDonald's budget, right?
Yes.
So
Maybe even crystals.
so Chris.
Oh my, that's always a coupon.
Sounds like it's typing me.
So
I'm sorry.
you've shown him. How many houses have you shown him? Or her? Is it him and her? Or just her?
It's just her.
Okay.
I've shown her almost 10 houses.
Okay. And every excuse is it's not where she wants. So the next conversation you need to be, and you want to do this in the office with the up in one of the conference rooms, and you want to pull up listings. And the conversation is just say, you've given me a budget of X. What is her budget?
She got pre-approved for like 130,000,
Okay.
which
so,
is not giving her a lot
so
of
she has to understand that 130,000, she is not getting
anything.
anything that hasn't been rehabbed, most likely.
Yes.
So you have to say to her, we have two options. First option is we got to bring our taste down and set up a budget. So after you get into the house that you love, because it's all about the bones of the house and the structure of the house, which is the most important thing, how you can update it to your likings. Okay? So you have to go with that. Say, look, I'm showing you the pictures, but let's look at the bones. Does this room, even though it's pink, give you enough room for your bed and what you're comfortable at? Because we can change the colors of the wall. Can't change the wall, we can change the color of the wall. So let's go in the kitchen. It doesn't have stainless steel, right? It has black. It's mismatched. You want stainless steel. Let's get you in this house. After you get in this house, is everything working? Obviously, if it's not working, it's a different story, but everything's working. Let's get you in the house. Then you can go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Sears, and for $3,000 over for 24 months, you can get a complete appliance package to your taste and style. And you know what? You can sell this refrigerator for $100. You can sell this dishwasher for $50. That recoups our money. But let's get you in the house, because this kitchen, except for the appliances, fits your needs. We can change cosmetically, but we got to find something in this price point that has good bones. And because of the price point, you're not only competing about people that want to buy their first time home, but you're also looking at investors who come in with cash.
Yep.
We got to get in and then we make the changes.
Yeah.
And you, because if you're showing her 10 properties and every time it's about style, amenities, she likes your company and she wants to see houses. She's not serious yet.
Yeah, she's just.
You got to get to find out. You got to get to her pain level.
So I have a question, and I just actually your situation made me think of it. Her aunt that we're really close with owns a kind of reno business. I mean, she does interior design and they take houses and renovate. Well, they don't actually flip them, but they do just renovations on high-end properties. What would your approach if, like we were joking about the Property Brothers, but they're on TV, so they obviously are doing something smart.
Right.
What would your approach be to finding maybe folks that are looking to do flips, but they're not as confident in doing it by themselves, or they're not a real estate
There's so many people out there, and there's so many people that think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but we have the contact with a really quality. Like, how would you approach that on the phone? I guess is what I'm really asking.
Are you looking as me as an investor trying to get me to buy a house to flip, or are you looking? Or is this a client?
I'm looking at.
Is this a client that wants to buy a house but wants to have it look like the product?
That.
Okay.
That.
So there are a couple of programs out there to be aware of, and you can talk to different mortgage people. So depending on the area, location, the price point, and all that stuff, there's a lot of great renovation programs. Okay, you can go in and say, look, depending on the dollar amount and everything else, it's going to be the requirements. But there's lenders out there who will loan. So if they don't have the cash to do it, but they want it to look like that, and there's enough equity to justify it, with rates that they're still so low, you can get a good renovation loan.
Certain homes have a really good.
Yeah, you can talk to Certainty. Again, my wife, I don't know if y'all in here, my wife is a mortgage broker, they have programs. All of them have. If you have a friend, talk to them and they'll explain it to you.
Okay.
What the different things is. Because then they can say, you can say, like, she's looking for this
Right.
beautiful thing, but it's not justifying.
Right.
So we actually have a client, Bjorn's working with them. We got them in. They like unique houses. I mean, like, very unique houses. So we're able to get them, it's a $15,000 renovation loan. We know it's going to come. So before they even move in, I mean, they could do it after they moved in, but they're going to close on the house.
Right.
They're going to take that $15,000 to upgrade the appliances, they're going to do cabinet refacing, not complete refacing, because it's only $15,000.
Right.
Carpet and paint. And I think one bathroom. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's all built into the loan.
Because these things, here's what I was thinking, because of these shows are so popular on TV, that people actually connect with that and they watch that. If we can mimic that approach of their branding on TV, and then like people get, oh wow, you're like the Chip and Joanna of HGTV.
Right.
That could be your niche, and see how that's.
You are in a really good location too. East Point is flowing.
Yeah.
Especially for renovation.
I just met a concrete guy because I wanted to extend my driveway. I mean, just put a slab behind my house because I bought an old home. I bought a fixer-upper. And the house, 3 doors down, was like you go to the stop sign and go 2 doors down. They just did a complete rehab. I think it's Keller Williams' agent that's the listing agent, not this office. But I mean, now the traffic is now coming by because they did a complete gut inside and out.
And the projection of the best line is going to the East Point.
Yeah.
Belt line,
the belt line. So it's
like
gonna
we're near,
be
like in it, where I am, it's like it's near the city. It's like
right now.
5 to 7 minutes I can get downtown.
Yeah.
So it's just.
But what I was asking you if it was for a buyer or an investor.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be an investor.
Everybody.
We want to be investor.
Everybody wants to be an investor, and most of the people that get burned are the ones that think they know what they're doing and they don't know the comps. You got to know your comps. You got to know what your return on your value is. And
who's the best person here at comps in your mind? I'm sure everybody's really solid. If you've been in business.
I think it's really based on the area. Like,
Okay.
if you ask me about Dunwoody, Sandy Springs, East Cobb, I know the area very well.
Yeah, Bob's kind of in that area too. He lives
You
in.
know, Sam, because he lives up in Alpharetta, Johns Creek. I mean, you have to know the area on top of just the comps.
Mhm.
How
I
do
mean,
you
I
get
can-
educated with an area? Like, what do you do to
How do you
educate to educate yourself with an area?
I drive around a lot of areas. I look at areas, but you become educated in the areas when you start dealing with people. I mean, right now I'm working with 3 different buyers for some unknown reason. It's all Ackworth, Kennesaw, and Woodstock. Okay, you're shaking your head no, right? You don't want to drive out there.
We actually just moved from Kennesaw.
Right. That's why she was shaking her head.
it's-
Because we
it's-
hated
I don't wanna
Kennesaw.
It's a 50-minute, 50 minutes for me.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know I've grown up here. Kennesaw's changed. I mean, but before I'm taking them out, I am researching the area. I'm looking at the schools. I'm looking at the restaurants. I'm looking at they're in Kennesaw, Woodstock, and Ackworth because of the price point. They want to be under $250. You can't do that here in Dunwoody, Sandy Springs, Brookhaven. You can't.
She look for schools, restaurants.
Yes, well, I do. I look for everything. I mean, I try to so
Sure.
I see what they're looking for. I do a geographical zone of where we're going to be showing. And so we're going out actually I have 2 different clients, both in Kennesaw. We're starting with one client at 9 o'clock in the morning until 12. We'll take a quick break to eat some lunch, and then I'll start with the other client from 1 o'clock on. And they're all in the same area. So what I've already done is I'm meeting my first client, and I said, this is a really good breakfast place. And this one I had already, I already knew about it, so it wasn't, I said, why don't we meet for breakfast? Let's get our bearings together. I putting them in my car because I like to control the speed. Some people follow them, it just really depends. We'll leave your car here. I've already mapped it out. This is where we're going, boom, 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 boom. I've already set expectations, Gerald. That's what you gotta do, is you gotta set the expectations. And I said, we have to be done by 12:30 because I have my other clients at 1 o'clock. I'd like to be done at 12 so I can get a bite to eat, but if we need to, but I have to be done. Expectations have been set. Okay? The other ones I have said, I would love to meet you for lunch. I'm showing clients. If you're flexible with me, I'll call you, and if we can meet, if not, we're meeting at this house. Okay? And then we'll go through the houses. At the end, probably we'll stop for a snack and we'll talk. You have to maintain control. You have, plus, I always tell a client, you should tell your clients the same thing.
What's that?
When you walk in a house, if this doesn't feel right to you, there's no need for us to walk through this house. I didn't buy the house, I didn't build the house. You're not gonna insult me. Let's move on. Because some people feel like they have to walk through every single room so they don't feel like they're wasting your time. Explain to them, you're wasting my time by walking around every room. And once you take control of the situation, you'll be surprised that, because people know, you walk in a house, when y'all were buying a house, you walked in a house, you knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
You knew. I knew if I wanted to continue looking, or I looked at the kitchen and I looked at one other room and you're like, no, I know this is not gonna meet us.
Mm-hmm.
Move on.
Sometimes you just walk in and you know immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a client, we're working on getting it, the listing. It's a 4-acre horse farm in Alpharetta. When I bought the house for her, and if you ever work with someone who wants to buy acreage, it's not a lot of choices. I mean, for what it is. I told her, because some of the price points we were looking at, I said, look, you're not insulting me. You walk in, you think no, we turn around and go on. Control the situation. Okay? That's the best thing I tell you. Everybody will help you. Bob will help you with comps if you need help.
Yeah.
Everybody will help you. But I really do want to kind of go over some of these questions that are going to be possibly, most likely, on the test. Because it also will give us a chance to discuss things we've talked about. So, and these, if you remember taking your test, their whole job is like any other test. It's not to really see what you know, but try to confuse you in the verbiage. So you have to think sometimes about them. So one of the questions is the big why. What is the why for people? Does anybody know? The big why. Mm-hmm.
What motivates you?
Yeah. What brings you energy? What brings you focus? Why are we doing this? What's making us sit here through and listen to me for how many hours have we been here? Your focus and energy.
We're gonna have our own business. We're gonna be successful.
Right. The big why. What is my energy?
I mean, kind of like you, Eddie. I waited till I got 41 years old to find out what I want to be when I grow up.
I didn't say that. I did not say I grew up.
Oh, well,
there you go.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that either. But you know,
My kids, I have twin 20-year-old daughters, and they tell me, and they remind me of that all the time. What is Gary Keller's? And we didn't go over this, so you need to read it. We probably should. You may have gone over it. But what is Gary Keller's mantra? Does anybody know?
I read the book, I don't remember.
I did too, I read it.
Okay. Think big, act bold, and live large.
Yes.
Right? So. Ooh, this is a good one. Which are the following forms of prospecting? Mailouts, door knocking, calling expires. What's prospecting?
Calling expires.
Calling expires? Is mailouts a prospecting form?
Yes,
Yeah, all of them.
it is.
It's really door knocking and calling expires because you're making a mailouts, you're just throwing things out hoping it sticks.
Okay.
When you're prospecting, you're cold calling, you're knocking on the
Getting contact
door.
with
It is a face-to-face, it's a meet, okay? You meet somehow. It's if that makes sense. Postcards, envelopes, staying in front. You're prospecting, but it's not true prospecting that you're talking to somebody. A contact. How is a contact defined in our world, in the real estate world? How is a contact defined? Oh my God, I did a
Contact is a
terrible
person
job.
What?
The contact in our world is for the test, and what we're thinking about is a conversation about real estate. That's a contact. I made a contact. I'm setting up coffee. We're contacting to discuss real estate. Okay, that's in the world of test. That's what it's about. Okay, so when using Facebook as a business tool, it is more effective to. You have to listen. Interesting instead of interested. Neither. Facebook shouldn't be used for business. Interested instead of interesting. Or a way to distract people from what you do.
Can you repeat the question?
When using Facebook as a business tool, it's more effective to be interesting instead of interested. Neither. Facebook shouldn't be used for business. Interested instead of interesting.
Interesting instead of
Interested instead of interesting.
interesting instead of interested.
Interesting, so.
Well, personal profile or business profile?
Interested instead of interesting. That means you're going and making comments, you're liking, you're interested. That's the whole thing about making
Oh,
comments.
it's about them.
It's
No.
about them. So you want to be
So-
interested in what they're doing. So you want to look on Facebook and you want to like their post. You want to comment on their post. You want to say, "Oh my God, I'm so glad ABC made this swim team," or blah blah.
Gotcha.
You want to be interested in them. Interesting is good because then they're going to hopefully look at your thing. But you want to be interested in other people on Facebook. Did we go over Mets? Did we talk about Mets?
How many
Not
minutes?
today. Mitts and half not.
Did
not
we go
mitts.
over all that?
Well, we talked about it yesterday.
Okay, because make sure y'all review that whole, there's a lot of questions from there.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
For me, a MET is when you have gone through the 8x8 process.
Okay.
But I'm not sure it's for the test. It's just a person that you actually just met.
Okay, so is your question, what is a met versus a meet? Versus, say it again, what you're trying.
I think it's more about the type of database that you need to keep growing, you know, that you do consider a person. For me, I don't consider a person a med, like on my med database until I have gone through the 8x8, the 8 touches for 8 weeks.
Okay, so
So you have a Met database and a Meet database?
Haven't met and net database. It's just two
Oh, I got you.
databases. But you haven't met is all the people that is like around you and you're like just sending mails and trying to contact. But
well,
when do you consider a met?
Like you've met them.
When do you put someone on your met database?
I get everybody goes to my database, but when do I move them up from a C to a B to a B to an A and to an A to an A plus? I guess is the best way to say it. So a met to me is a conversation. We've engaged. We're engaging. It's
Without
not,
going with the 8, without doing the 8 touches.
well, that's part of the whole thing. Okay. As you do your multiple, your 36 touches, your 8 touches. So if you and I just met, right? You were referred to me, I don't know, as from my babysitter, right? Somebody we should get to know. I wouldn't move you from a C to a B until we have met. We've had lunch, we've had conversations, whether you're buying a house or not. Okay? That's how I look at it. Does that make sense? It may be take the 8 touches before I invite you for coffee. You may have hit it off over the phone and it could be next day.
Well, I know it's like really subjective to
It
the
is.
agent, but I was wondering what is for the test, like what is for the like test when like Gary Keller consider a met.
Well, it's gonna have to call it, because I don't remember. I consider a met, a true met, when I've had a conversation and they answer my phone about what I do and what they do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There are lots of people that I put on my database that have met once at a networking event. Those are future, that's why they're DC. Does that make sense? It's hard, it is subjective. It's hard to,
It is.
because you may classify a med as somebody that you know that is always going to refer you. I don't. It's top of mind is where I'm trying to get them. My A pluses are always going to refer me. So when you communicate with somebody, it's a med. If you're just sending them emails, it's not a med. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because emails are not a communication. Text in today's world is kind of a communication. Not in my world, but in a lot of people's world it is. To me, it's face-to-face or on a phone. Does that make sense?
It makes
Okay.
sense.
It's subjective, but that's really kind of what they were thinking. This is always on the test. Which makes up the 4 C's? Come on, tell me the 4 C's. Somebody. Starts with the C.
Contact, communication,
Connect, contact, connect.
Contact is not on there.
communication,
Cultivate,
Cultivate.
communicate.
Connect.
connect,
Not contact, connect.
Okay.
Or capture.
capture,
Okay.
Connect. Cultivate and
Close.
close.
right. Remember the 4 C's.
Capture, connect, close, cultivate.
Okay.
Could you repeat those just one more time if you don't?
Capture, connect, cultivate, and close. And it should be on.
So,
You should have gotten this little
Yeah.
sheet also, right there, the 4 C's. Let's see what some other ones are that I'm trying to think.
I think communication's just
What does scripts provide? We've talked briefly about scripts, but what does scripts provide? So if you think about a script, what does a script provide you?
Focus.
Okay,
I would
That's one.
start the conversation.
right. Structure
Oh, let's say structure.
is probably the biggest. It ensures that your points that you want to talk about are covered.
Mhm.
And it also allows the process to move forward. So you were talking about objections. One of the things that there's in Ignite, and have y'all heard of Bold yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you about my Bold stuff in a second. But one of the things that I focused when I took Bold was overcoming objections. That was big. So what did I have to learn to overcome objections? I had to listen better. And what made me listen better, did I learn? Practicing my scripts. Because you pause in certain points of your scripts. So by practicing my scripts, helped me become over my objections and learning. So it all intertwines. But it's very, I don't think there's anything you can throw out at me that I haven't read a script for. I may not remember it verbatim like you said, that I can't overcome now. And I don't know if I'd said that 2 years ago or a year ago. But I feel like because I practiced. I found a script partner and we practiced. And there's always something, I think, it may stumble a little bit, but practicing all the different scripts, you don't get as best you can, it'll overcome everything. And we all think it's going to make us sound like a robot and that all we're going to answer is this way. It sounds like that the first couple of times you do it, but as you do it, all of a sudden it just becomes second nature. I mean, like, it's about finding out the objection. Our job is to find the pain. What is their pain? Is their pain they have to be in the house? They have to sell their house in 2 months because they're moving to California. Okay, well that's their pain. So now you have to say, okay, you understand their pain. How are you going to overcome the pain? Well, they're not being realistic about the price. It's Maria, right? That's it. Maria? Okay. Maria, look, understand, you have to be in California in 2 months, right? And I know you want $550 for the house. And I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news necessarily, but here are the cons. Here's what the market bears. I can only show you what the market bears. I can't predict next month. If I could, I would be able to tell you exactly where you're going to be in 2 months, or I'd be on the golf course, or I'd be fishing. But the reality is you have to be somewhere in 2 months. And the reality is the house is worth $505. That's what the market bears.
With the providing, what is the opportunity cost of you not being able to sell a house before July when you need to be there?
Correct. What is your pain?
So if you actually quantify that amount that you're going to experience, the pain you're going to experience monetarily wise, if you don't, that may be greater than the $30,000 that you're going to lose, that you feel you're going to lose if you don't sell it at $550.
So if you're dealing with somebody, if you're dealing with, especially somebody that's relocating or transferring, or and maybe or moving somewhere that there's no family. So you want to always kind of find out that question, like if they have kids. I know this sounds crazy as it can be, but you need to sell this house because you need to be in California, like you said, because you want your kids to be settled. Yes, we can put the house up there at $550. Market doesn't bear it. Are you willing to wait an extra 30 or 60 days? What will that do to your whole structure of getting the kids ready for school? What is her pain? Her pain is to get her kids, like you said, get the kids settled for school. These are the questions and objections you have to overcome. And you got to ask the questions to find out what the objections are. And then once you find it out, then you can go back and help you settle your price issue. It was just like the guy at Alpharetta. He said, I have to be out by the end of June. Okay? We know his drop dead date. Okay? That was his drop dead date. And I knew if he would listen to me and agree to the price that we wanted to price it, I could sell that house. And that was how, and that's the same thing. That's another one. Have you thought about if somebody's selling their house and they have to buy another house? They're staying in Atlanta. You have to you have to ask the questions. What is your plan? Because I love this house. We price it right. We do what we need to do. We stage it and do what we need to do. And we sell this house. What are your plans if we haven't bought a house yet? So we're problem solvers. We're psychologists. Our job, people think our job is to put a sign in the yard and take pictures. It is so
Much
more,
different.
right, they don't say it. But you find out, so what I found from, as I'm going to make scripts is, what are the objections, what are their pains, what are their pleasures? That helps you close the deal.
The pain that they're having can actually provide you with a niche too, like in what you do. So if you know that people have problems, like you were talking about, buying a house in Atlanta and Dunwoody is so expensive, you could use that as a pain to say, you could find something less expensive and do a reno and provide more value to your house. So I guess what you're saying is you can use pains to your advantage.
Right.
Have some
Right.
money.
And it's the same with prospecting.
Let's do it.
They're,
When you're prospecting with somebody,
investment properties, but it's commercial.
if you can find what their need is, because everybody has a need, right? You don't realize it, but you have a need. If you can find that conversation, you become the go-to. And what I mean by need is, you said you play golf, right?
Yeah.
Do you belong to a country club?
No.
Okay, so if you wanted to play golf and I could find a half off a cart rental at a golf course, would that be a pleasure for you? That's a need,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a need. You don't realize it's a need,
I know they're.
but I've come to get a relationship with you and I found out that's a need.
Yeah.
You're an advocate, you said, for victims, right? So you, every day, in the back of your head, you're always fighting for the victim, right? So if I found out about a company that, like the place in Roswell for battered women and children, I'm trying to think of the name of the house, but you can, if you're having an issue, they'll put you up and put your kids up and help you, right? That's something she's passionate about. So even if she already knows about it, her need is information. And they'll come to me, is it the Drake House? But there's a group in Roswell that they take battered women to get them out of a bad situation. She may have heard of it already or not. Again, you're building a relationship. Because I told her that information. She might turn around and say, oh, I know about this group, it's great, blah, blah, have you heard of this one? Okay, so now in the back of my head, someone else says, I'm thinking about looking for a volunteer opportunity for my daughters. Do you know anybody? Here. She probably knows of a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Dog lovers, horse lovers, cat lovers, sorry. I'm not a cat lover. Even though it doesn't feel like a need, it's all about prospecting. You're finding out what they want to communicate. You're building and you give them the information, and then that puts you at top of mind. Helicopters, right? How cool is that? I mean, to me, that's cool. That's a niche, right? I mean, y'all have to be a very small community. Bigger than, pilots. There's lots of pilots.
The helicopter pilots.
But there's not a lot of helicopter pilots, right? It's a different technique. It's a different mindset. But that's a great niche to stay in touch with. Because if you said you're with a corporate company, like growing up, my neighbor used to work for Eastern, and then him and his wife, she was a stewardess, became a pilot, and his stewardess is not the right for whatever
Flight attendant.
For a private company, and he had no kids, and I remember him telling us the stories because I would watch his dogs when they would go. He says, I love my job, but not everybody can do my job because I can get a call and say I have to have wheels up in 48 hours or 12 hours. We're going Christmas Eve, we're taking the family to whatever, and you're going. You don't have a choice. So that's a very small knit community that you understand that I don't necessarily understand. I understand your job, but you can relate to it. That's a great networking opportunity. And then it's not the helicopter pilot that maybe you're after, but it's the person that can afford to hire the helicopter pilot, because that may have the HR person, may have the companies expanding. A friend of mine's in commercial real estate, and they took a video of them. They were flying over the west side, looking at property, because his client is developing. Well, he hired to take his client to show him up from above. So that, it's just another way for you, you have able to prospect differently than some of us, if that makes sense. Any other, all right, we're almost done. Any other questions? Anybody have questions?
How do you,
for me?
there's so many different niches that you can go after. I'm sure you do everybody has a different, some people just focus on one niche. Some people kind of do a wide approach.
What is your niche? You have to find your own niche.
So I guess my question is,
Weight Watchers may be a niche.
so do you typically, for instance, like you were just talking about helicopter pilots, right? You could go that route, or you could do the Reno route, like Chip and Joanna Gaines. You could do a lot of different. How did you focus on just one niche, or have you just kind of like you just kind of network and go at it in every area?
How can you find your niche?
That's a good question. I started when I got into the business, the market had died when I got into business. And I knew that there were going to be a lot of investors buying up property that had cash. This was before the big REITs came in and started buying up. And there were a lot of landlords by default. What that meant was they owned homes, they got transferred, or they took other jobs, they couldn't sell them, so they had to become. So I went to work with a fraternity brother of mine because I was looking for a change. And we focused on landlords by default and investors. We went from 50 owners to 250 in about 4 years. I grew the business. And my focus was rehabbing investors not for flips, but for profit, because there's no room for flips at that time. And that's how I cut my teeth. So I still do, the market's not real good right now for investors to flip. I mean, there are some, but it's a tighter market, but that's how I cut my teeth. 2 years ago, you could start seeing the economy changing. People that were landlords by default can now sell their house because they had enough equity. So that's when I started my focus on changing over from property management to full-time real estate. The gentleman I was working for couldn't see the writing on the walls, and that's when I left and came to Keller Williams. So I brought some of those clients that I knew had enough equity, it was time to sell. Those people have referred me business. So mine has all been truly a referral business. I do, even though it doesn't look like it, I do play in a softball league, and I network to that league. I belong to a networking group called BNI. We meet every Thursday morning at 7 o'clock. So I do that.
May I ask which BNI?
Perimeter Connect.
Do they have room for a commercial agent?
They already have a commercial agent. The three hardest spots, if you ever can fill, is insurance agent, real estate agent, insurance agent, and commercial agent. And it's a closed networking group. When my kids were younger, I coached the softball and I coached the soccer. I met people that way, and I just stayed in touch. I do door knocking. I sponsor things. Sponsored a charity golf tournament at Stone Mountain past Sunday. So that's how I get my name out. And I pick up the phone and I start calling. I cold call still. So you have to find what works for you, but you have to incorporate everything. But my business is really referral.
I'm bringing the hook.
Referral
Get this
based.
guy off the stage.
Referral based, but I still cold call. I don't use a dialer, but I call expireds. I drive by for sale by owners. I try to get them on my database and stay in touch with them. I do Popeyes. I love doing Popeyes. love doing Popeyes. So,
And he is a person-to-person
yeah,
kind of person.
I like to be in.
Agent.
Yeah, and you have to find your niche. There's some people that won't be on the phone, and they do great on the phone. That's their. It could be a combination. I mean, you just have to find. I am more of a face-to-face people person. That's just how I do my business.
Okay, did y'all learn anything?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No.
There's tons of information in this
We're
class.
gonna, I know, and I feel bad.
And I hate to tell you,
'cause I
but
don't
like
know-
40% of the exam is on the material in this class, and I am not kidding you.
I tried to explain that to them, so review this section, because I don't know if we've covered everything.
Because lead generation is the number one thing in Keller Williams, and so that's why.
And I get off on tangents. So hopefully, hopefully y'all learned a lot. Again, my door is always open. It used to be across from Stacy, and then she left us. But I'm at the, so you know where the bullpen is? You know what the bullpen is? The workroom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm straight ahead at the end. I'm in the hottest office there is in this building. So,
But he has a fridge with snacks.
yes.
If
If
you're
you,
desperate in the afternoon.
He's always networked.
if you have, look, food is to the heart.
It is.
But you have to find what works for you. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest things, and you need to do this because you're looking for 150 and below for your client. You need to,
130 and below.
whatever it is. But what I'm saying is, you need to come to the meeting and you say, I have a want. I have a need. My need is I have a client, a very picky client. And you'll be surprised at who knows things that are coming on the market that you'll find, because at that price point, you really have to find something that hasn't hit the market yet.
Yeah, something that's off market.
You have to, and you gotta take control of that and explain to her, at your price point, it's about bones and structure and cosmetics and coming.
I think I text what you said in verbatim to her. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you.
Please don't call me when she fires you. No, I'm just kidding, she won't. But that's exactly what it is. You have to be in control.
Excuse me.
Instructor evaluations, please? You didn't write them? No. Okay. Instructor evaluations, Stephen today.
And again, y'all have any questions, let me know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
David.
great.
My question is, do you have a card? You have a huge wealth of knowledge.
No,
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
It's amazing. Thank you,
anybody
sir.
else?
Yeah.
Definitely awesome sauce.
I gotta go talk this lady off the ledge.
All right, I gotta walk to
Can I
the
use
office
your
and get.
pen?
I didn't bring a pen in
I gotta
here.
walk.
This is
You can-
Eddie's.
you can have
but
that.
if you can-
Can I have one?
Let me walk to the, let me walk and get some cards. Who else needs a card? One, two.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
I'm glad I